There
Oh.
it is. Hey, everybody. Look at that. I timed that out at the end of the song. Didn't even mean to do that.
Didn't even mean that. That was great.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to In Depth. This is episode number 10. We've been killing it just every single week.
We have.
I think for the whole year, I did out my schedule, my whole calendar. I think I'm going to miss 1, 2, 3 episodes total for the whole year.
Nice. I'm going to miss none.
None? Well, you're going to miss 3 because I'm missing 3.
That doesn't count.
But I'm going to cause
I'll just do it by myself.
the missing of 3. There you go. Welcome, everybody, to the show. This is where...
Oh, nice shirt, by the way.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. My brother bought me that.
It's a nice shirt.
Yeah.
People are commenting in chat already about it.
Yeah. I like the show. It's almost as good as In Depth.
Almost.
Not quite,
if
though.
Rick and Morty played StarCraft, it would be great.
It's not quite as smart, but it's pretty smart.
It's pretty
You
smart.
have to have a high IQ to understand what's going on In Depth.
That's something we have in common with Rick and Morty.
Yes, indeed. So, today, as you can tell by the title and what's on your screen, we're going to be going over TVP a little bit from the WCS pack. I think this is going to be our last, likely our last WCS-focused episode, because we did Zerg vs. Terran. We did Protoss vs. Zerg, and then, of course, we're going to do Terran vs. Protoss now. So that's all 3 of the non-mirror matchups. Obviously, we can still grab some replays and go over some other stuff in the future from this. But yeah, this is kind of...
It's getting farther away, too, so it's becoming less and less relevant as time goes on. The meta changes, and
yeah, exactly.
replays get older. We're
trying to keep everything as super current as possible. Like, for instance, once GSL ends, we'll try to get those replays immediately and do probably 2 episodes immediately off of that.
GSL replays are so sick.
Oh, I know. I can't wait for another Immortal Century episode. It's going to be great. Oh, my God. I'm so excited. But yeah, today, I had heard that Clem vs. ShoWTimE is really great. I know that you were mentioning Neeb was saying that he finds PvT really hard, whereas everyone complains about the other side of it, even though we've had the results speak otherwise. So we're going to look over those games and just see what they're all about, see how everyone's playing, what it looks like. Yeah.
I want to take a different approach to viewing these replays, by the way. I want to go into the mindset that each player has going into the series and what game they're playing. For example, TVP feels like a very, very strategic game. Usually you're switching up your strategy. You don't do the same thing over and over and over again. I know Special talks a lot about how he plays and which builds he picks on certain maps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I want to look for like specific reactions, perhaps information from the first game that carries over to the second game for both players, because both players are playing unique builds almost always. TVP generally becomes more of a pressure game, but sometimes you got like the Maru style, like passive.
Yeah.
Wait for them to attack into you. I haven't seen these games, so it'll be really interesting to kind of look for those things.
Yeah, this is actually an interesting evolution because we've been talking for a while. I think it was kind of the Pylon show with Thermal on it, where he mentioned that he thought that maybe Terrans do better in prep tournaments rather than weekend tournaments. Maybe this is why GSL has Terrans doing very well, WCS doesn't have Terrans doing as well, and things like that. And I think a lot of people caught on with that and agreed with that. It made a lot of sense to me when he said it. Now, I don't know if I completely agree. The more I'm like really heavily analyzing the current metagame and what's going on, and maybe we can kind of find some of the ideas that might lead towards answers. You can't ever find just the answers in watching how many replays. Are we going to watch 10 replays? I'm not sure, but
I think that makes the most sense because of the Zergs too and doing so well in WCS. Like Zerg is such a reactive race. It doesn't really matter if you're on a weekend or a month-long preparation time.
Yeah.
Like maybe you can blind counter some of the things that they may or may not do or prepare for those certain things. But honestly, it's not much you can do. Whereas the Terran and Protoss have a lot more time to prepare timing attacks to kill you, right?
Well, certainly with Protoss, that seems to be completely the case because you can come out with such crazy, strong, sharp builds. I'm not sure.
Terran too, though. Remember Inno versus where he did do that tank thing on that map? We never saw that before.
Absolutely.
There's tons of like
I don't
situations where that kind of happens.
Disagree with this idea. Not completely, at least. But if you look at the way that Maru plays and stuff, I think that there is some question as to exactly what it is.
That's true.
Because if the best Terran in the world, the one that really doesn't have any problem beating anybody, plays reactively against Protoss, then I really got to start wondering, right?
I agree.
But yeah, anyways, it's just kind of an idea that's in the back of my head. When we're going over stuff here on In Depth, we're analyzing live in an in-depth manner, right? And it doesn't mean that we come up with exactly truth. There's,
it's mostly just thoughts.
There's many truths.
There is, yeah.
And to try to understand what's going on,
To speak off what you said, I actually think that's really interesting to think about because Maru is extremely reactive. I don't feel like Maru really is playing his opponents that much.
Last year, though, he did have a lot of prepped builds, but they were very cheesy. And this year, he's been all reactive. So
right, he would break those builds out. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, yeah, he did 2x a lot. But this year has been incredible. Like his playstyle is just completely 180'd. And now he just relies on solid mechanics and just being better. And I don't feel like at any point I felt, wow, he's really playing stats, or he's really playing patience, or he's really playing whoever. He just kind of plays Maru, which is like he's playing as a Zerg player almost.
Yeah.
I would love to see him play in another like IEM style. I guess BlizzCon would be the best situation to see him in.
Yeah, or maybe GSL versus the World.
GSL versus the World, yeah.
I'm not sure, how many matches there will be for that. But
like you can say IEM, but that was also pretty early on in the year. Closer to where he was playing more of that aggressive, like, timing attack style. The more time we give him, I think the more reactive and the better he'll be at that play style. I think he's already really good. He's probably really good at whatever he does already.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So, I
sound? What are you guys
think...
talking about?
What? Oh, okay.
I
No,
think
this
that guy's
happens
muted.
sometimes. I think it's like a Twitch bug or something.
Okay.
Anyways, I know that we have sound. So we're going to jump into the games. We actually have 10 replays between these two series, so hopefully we can get through them all today. I believe.
It's crazy. All 5 games.
Maybe if you guys didn't pause all the time.
Yeah, it's on your side. All right. So, things to look from... I guess we'll start from the Terran's perspective. But we'll keep an eye on what the Protoss scouts and sees.
Yeah, no, this
is
one's
like
going to be
the
Clem versus
first-
ShoWTimE. This first one.
The first game, they do play on ladder. So that's something to take into consideration. Oh. We're starting over here. Okay.
Yep.
So...
It's my observing for you.
Even the wall off, I find is really interesting for Terran or for Protoss versus Terran. Maps obviously like this, you can't wall both sides.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's kind of no option besides this.
And this is the exact type of wall you want, anyways.
It is. I
Especially
used
you
to
can put
try
your-
like walling this side, and it would just kill me because my units would come in and be blocked. I'm like, okay, well that's really annoying, and then they go all the way around, and the mines would go off already.
Yeah.
Plus your probes get stuck.
And
trying to leave.
it's a nice Reaper wall. If the core below the gas blocks the Reaper from going, it makes it really hard for them to harass from the jump-in location. So
Small
just
thing
nice.
to note: Terran players have been doing this for a while now, but they skip the first orbital, right? And they get the CC a little bit faster to not get harassed by the Adept. I like it. It seems
that's
really
really good. Yeah, I actually hadn't noticed that. That's great.
Yeah, so instead of just going orbital and then command center, they go command center immediately. And you'll see once the Adept comes out, the CC is usually pretty close to being finished, if not already done, especially if they deal with the Reaper. This is cute. He's looking for the probe, so the probe doesn't harass the CC. That's literally all this is for. Plus proxies. Look at there, he found it.
Yeah.
It's mosely so the probe doesn't just tackle
Well,
the
as soon as
CC.
you hit the SCV once,
See, look.
the Adept kills it.
It's already finished.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's nice.
nice, yeah.
Oh, I like it.
It's very comfortable. I think this is also one of the main differences for why you get a bunker and don't get a bunker.
Do you get an extra SCV when you do that? Do you know by chance?
I don't think you do.
Do you skip the SCV also?
I think you skip the SCV.
Okay.
Actually, maybe you do get an extra SCV.
Yeah, you might.
I think you do, actually.
50 versus 150. I mean, seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think you do. You might be right here.
It sounds better and better the more I think about it.
Oh, it's great. It feels really comfortable. So remember, I think one of the episodes I was debating why do Terran players build bunkers sometimes and other times they don't. I think it has to do with that as well. Like if you build the command center really early, you can just build your orbital and everything comfortable. Don't transfer SCVs. It doesn't really matter. It's a lot easier to hold up here than like down here with Marines and get them picked off. And the bunker is an investment.
Yeah.
So I think it has to do with going CC before command center. I can still be wrong if you're a Terran player. You're like, this guy's an idiot. It's fine. But it does feel like there's some correlation there, especially when I play my own Terran games. Look at how close that was. Those things just change games, by the way.
Like I know. Losing
one
the first
straight line.
Oracle is like the biggest thing in the whole world.
I like the Viking, actually. If you use the Viking well throughout the entire game, another feeling I've had as Terran is it's so annoying to deal with a Prism if you don't build a Viking.
Oh, yeah. That's something we talked about a lot like several weeks ago on the show.
I think that was the Neeb Mara game.
It might have been. where it's like any game
yours.
where you die to Zealot Weapons and you didn't have a Viking, you moved out with every unit you have. It's like, are you playing StarCraft 2 or are you playing what you wish StarCraft 2 was?
Right. Okay, so me and Artosis were talking about this a bit before the show started.
Yeah.
The one difference I found with Robo and Stargate is your third base timing. Look at how fast this third base is. 430, pretty fast. No gases here. Yeah. He's not even building probes. He's got 3 gates. Okay, he's building 1 probe here. This feels really, really good, like having a really fast third base. If you can power up and just like have a ton of gateway units, they generally can't do much. I guess we'll see if Clem can, but...
Yeah. Well, it is an interesting thing, third base timings, right? If you go for a Robo opener with 3 gates, you're going to get it right before 5 minutes. But this is like, the thing is, ShoWTimE has played this very carefully anyways. He's got 3 Oracles and he has 5 Adepts. Whereas if you're playing Robo, generally you're going to be making more Stalkers. The Adepts are not going to be as useful. Like, you'll probably have 1, but you're going to want like a Sentry and things like that. Maybe you have to make an Immortal. You got to be careful about that. But
yeah, it's true. Generally, you get these gassed a lot faster too if you go for the Robo. Though another thing that when you go Robo, your Twilight is really delayed.
Yes, very.
Like, it's really annoying because I always get like a Liberator push and I don't have Blink. Like, if I go for charge because I don't want to die to the push, the Liberators are just so annoying.
Yeah, that is for sure.
But yeah, we can continue from this point. Just an interesting side note. 3 Oracles is probably the magic number.
It is. It is.
He's actually building a 4th. What?
Oh, interesting.
Okay, I don't really
The thing is,
understand.
Oracles are just good.
They are.
Like, I mean, they've been nerfed, I don't know, 12 times. But there's still, like, 1 Oracle doesn't really do much of anything. But Stasis Ward is just fantastic. You know, obviously, when you have 3, you can start one-shotting Marines when they come to attack you and all that.
It feels like Oracles lose their... unless you go for a push. I was going to say they lose their utility the longer the game goes, like as an attacking unit.
Yeah, as an attacking unit. But I think that just as like a scouting and annoyance unit, they're still amazing.
But do you need 4 of them for that? 3 is pretty good because you can one-shot SCVs.
You're always going to know where they are, right? Haven't we talked about that a lot of times,
yes,
where this matchup is so much about just knowing where they're at?
Oh my god. This is such a sick timing.
Yeah, that was all right.
Okay, well, I think I see why we go with so many Oracles.
Damn. And this is with the 3rd Nexus being made.
Yeah. So, like, even though it didn't kill actually 11 SCVs was insane. It didn't
Not just 11 SCVs, it killed his army.
Entire army, yeah. I was going to say that's a big thing because now he can just probe for days if he wants to. He's getting up his tech. I mean, so far ShoWTimE's in an amazing position, right?
That was a cool little build, actually.
Yeah. I think, honestly, that could just kill some
Let me just take a
Terrans.
look. Okay, so, I mean, up until that point, at least, this was very, very close to the play that Innovation has been doing, like every TVP. Not exactly the same build, but very, very close to it. So this would definitely still be current meta, what we see Clem doing.
Do you think that he did that attack so that a push from Clem isn't just extremely powerful? You know what I mean? Like, do you think that push's only purpose is to clear the army, specifically? Like
that, I think that's by far the main purpose. Because the thing is, you hit, when you're using Stargate units and you're using units like Adept, Terran hits a critical mass.
I agree.
Which is what actually kills the Protoss. You can't let them get to a critical mass. You actually want smaller battles. Just like different Protoss comps can hit kind of a critical mass at certain times. Like, you get a certain amount of Immortals, right? You have a critical mass, you're going to just kill everything Zerg has. So I think it's definitely a big, big part of it. Because otherwise you're sitting here with all these depths and you made this base. The thing is, if you go for a quick third base, there's multiple ways to go quick third base with Stargate tech. You can go for a 3rd Nexus off of, like, 1 gate, right? But then it gets a little bit, you know, it can be scary. Yeah. And then what'll happen is they'll hit this timing attack where you can barely hold it with Charger Glaives. Like, barely. It's not that good a build. You see Zest do it sometimes. But I don't think it's... if I was playing in WCS, I would not be doing that. I see why ShoWTimE doesn't.
Normal to get armor first?
Yes, with
Why?
charge.
Oh, with charge, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I always go for +1 attack because of my units. Just
With Zealots?
with everything.
Oh, no. If there's like this funny thing. If you get your armory nice and early like this, and you get +1 armor, and then you get +2 armor, and you haven't died, the Terran is done.
Right.
It's like +2 Zealots are so insane.
Is this a push? I can't tell.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of a push.
3 Marauders, 3 Marines, and a mine.
Well, there's more units behind it.
1 Marauder, 3 more Marines.
2 mines, 2 more Marauders.
What is this, a Congo line?
Yeah. Well, you got some frozen, right?
Yeah. This is like such a weak push.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was ShoWTimE, I'd just have a million more probes. But this is like a safety play. He actually played a really good job. Because think about if you had 9 Adepts here and like, 2 more Oracles. And then this army was the same as before. It was like a tank and like
he wouldn't
15,
break it with
20
this.
more Marines.
He wouldn't break it.
Yeah. This would be like the most one-sided attack, I think, from Clem. Like the supplies are relatively even still. Except like all the Marines are gone. There's no tank here at all. Like it's actually a huge deal that like because he already swapped the factory too. So once that tank's gone, it's just gone forever. All right, let's watch this play out. But we already know how it's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's gonna get wrecked.
Look at this timing, by the way. Charge just finishes now at 7 minutes 11 seconds. I feel like this is about as early as it can get with if you're waiting for stim in combat. It doesn't get much faster unless you're just rushing it.
I think that was kind of a sloppy attack in.
I think he didn't see this. Because this is actually...
I
didn't see this.
I saw the shot on the probes.
Oh.
I think that this attack probably was just a little bit over sloppy here.
I mean, I did not expect this whatsoever. Throw out everything I just said, guys.
Damn. Well, let's go back and look at it. Okay.
Okay, so first thing, this positioning is
That's
sick.
a cute setup. I like that with the 2 mines. I hadn't noticed there were 2 mines with it. So it looks like what Clem is setting up here. This is like super micro intensive.
I want to watch. You don't want to watch ShoWTimE?
Yeah, but I want to kind of look at this first, right? Okay, so obviously you got the siege tank over here. This is such a funny move.
Yeah.
Because, like, I guess there's a few different ways to go. Like, if you have blink, maybe you blink over and try to get it, and then the mines wreck you. Or if you send any units over here. I've never seen this.
Oh, this is good.
It's really interesting.
Is if a zealot goes for it, too. Like, once a zealot gets on top of a tank, it just dies.
Yeah.
Because it can't shoot it. But this would basically stop.
This'll, well, as we see, it actually stops 3 zealots.
Yeah.
But, like, the mine spread is pretty neat. He's got, let's check the upgrades. Yeah, he's even got concussive here. I mean... Really interesting. He's got his +1 done, and the +1 is actually just barely not done. This, when I look at this, though, it looks like Protoss should be able to break it.
I agree. Where were the Oracles, actually? It felt like the Oracles weren't here. Where are they?
Let's see. Click on them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they are pretty far away, but...
I think Oracles actually make a big difference here. Like, even if you're just able to revelate... Because yeah, it's just nice to know where the army is and the full size of it. One other thing to note is this is no third base here for Clem. This is a lot more committed than I thought it was originally.
Well, I think it's because the SCVs he lost. A lot of times with these 3 racks pushes that you do, you make the third as you're moving out. But he lost how many SCVs? Was it 9?
It was quite a few.
Yeah, 9. So, I mean, that's probably a big part of it,
also,
I would say.
this +1 armor is just barely not...
Yeah.
Like, he should have bought time. I think he felt confident, because I felt confident, honestly. Like, looking at this, you don't think that Terran's just going to roll you here.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a very big army. 5 Marauders, or whatever, 8 Marauders. It's not a big army. This is a ton of Zealots. It does feel like this is basically the most efficient fight Clem could have. Like, there's a ton of mines for Zealots here. That's a big deal. 5 mines, and this tank is basically invincible for the time being. Can splash all the way up to here, right? This is like a perfect engage. You also see his bio is close to the tank splash radius, right?
Yeah.
So basically, when the Zealots do charge in, they're going to get hit by what?
Yeah, they hit the
mines?
maybe a splash of a tank, and then the mines will shoot, but not all at once. They're kind of spread well.
Exactly. That's a perfect.
Yeah, let's watch this as slow as possible. Okay. So there's now that first charge was really, really bad for ShoWTimE. It's hard to get Zealots to charge how you want. There's actually like SOS said this in an interview where he's like, yeah, a lot of Protoss is just hoping your Zealots charge to what they need to, you know,
Yeah.
so that they actually connect. But when you have like over half your Zealots charged towards 1 mine while they're getting hit by a siege tank. Oh yeah, I did that for a screenshot. Okay.
Yeah, so this was going really bad. You can already see he's retreating. I think he expects to kill this tank, right? But this tank doesn't die. So now he's retreated back, and
he's done nothing except take a ton of damage, kill a couple mines.
Yeah, this is not a good position. This is basically the best thing for Clem. Like, he's already retreating. Marauder's going to concuss a couple of these Zealots on the way back, and the tank survives. But I think this was like a calculated move by ShoWTimE. He's like, all right, I will kill this tank. I've killed the mines. I'm just going to warp in one more time, right?
Yeah, another round, you probably feel like you're going to clear it because there's no more splash.
Exactly.
But
if he keeps going, he's going to lose these zealots anyways.
Yeah.
He should have waited
Those
for
are
+1
so
armor.
low.
This was a big mistake, I think. Even letting him siege up more.
Well,
or like
Clem was getting so aggressive on the Nexus. I think that you have to do at least a half engage. Like, you have to do something to push him back. He didn't have enough force fields to really do it. He had to do something.
This was a really
And look,
he
did start the 3rd CC, but just a little late. So that is because of the 9 SCVs dying. That's why that's just a little bit late.
Well, I think at this point, when you're Clem, you're like, okay, I just basically win, right? Like, I'm going to trade for this army. I should be able to do some economic damage. I'm going to take my 3rd behind this.
Twilight Tech can be a little bit funny, too. If you screw up any of the early battles, then you're never going to be able to do it. But if you don't, then it feels imbalanced.
Yeah. This felt way better for ShoWTimE going into it now than I look at it now, and it's just like, wow, this is a really bad fight for ShoWTimE. I think there's just not enough support for the Zealots. Like, it's just Zealots. There's 1 Sentry and 1 Stalker.
Yeah, there's certainly not much. I think that a lot of it comes down to the charge. Sure, maybe the Oracles should have been over here, but
yeah, let's just watch.
I don't know if I don't think the Oracles would actually change this.
Look at that. That's basically the most unfortunate thing ever. Now he goes back out.
Oh god, he doesn't even have his charge up. Oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
Well, he was going to lose a bunch anyways because concussive's already done.
Right. I mean, this is just a no-win situation.
Seems like just a very well-executed, well-microed push from...
Yeah, and it felt... I think
Clem.
ShoWTimE's economy or his tech was not that good because of the original push, too. So this is like the perfect timing. Now he's got +1 armor. This will make a big difference, actually. This is nice.
Yeah.
He should have gone straight for the tank, I think, but it's fine.
Well, the mines would have recharged if he hadn't targeted them. Yeah, he can't get into there.
53 to 46. 3rd base is on the way. This is like a perfect safety net. He's actually leaving a lot of his bio at home. Okay, we can watch it normal space.
I love how normal is faster and normal is slow.
Makes no sense. It was even weirder when there's Blizzard seconds because they did that. Blizzard seconds were just faster than normal seconds. So
how arrogant do you have to be to make time your own?
Yeah. That's weird. So he does hold, and he didn't take too much economic damage. Honestly, that was better than I thought it would be for ShoWTimE. Like, it was bad, don't get me wrong, but I actually thought he was just going to die.
Well, I think at this point you're so far behind. Like, I really don't like this position for him.
Yeah, but Stormy and Blinky and +2E can bring you back.
That's a long ways off, isn't it?
Yeah, if he can, I think at this point you're just at like, I just need to hold, and then I can eventually win this game. But it's not a good position to be in, that's for sure. He did move his oracles from here too. So originally,
well, he lost his oracles, right? So he doesn't even have any scouting. He has nothing on the map to see incoming drops like the ones that are coming. He has no way to harass, no way to scout.
Yeah, I really, really like this move by Clem, by the way. This is such a sick move. Because you've seen the army composition. It's extremely heavy zealot. We saw, what, 1 stalker? Well, the worst case scenario, there's 100 zealots here, and you're like, okay. So you just back up, right? Like, this is a really, really smart choice, considering the army composition we were given.
It's kind of like he's playing against roaches in TVZ.
Yeah, he's just playing really smart. Like, we saw there was no phoenixes. The oracles died. There's chances of him seeing this are very minimal, and even if he does, you're not going to be punished, right? Like, the worst case scenario is you lose all these medevacs, and that's basically not an option here. So this is just really smart. And at the same time, you can build SCVs. I think he's getting his upgrades. Yeah. Could get another engineering bay, but this is great.
Well, he can just tech up as he wants at home. It's a pretty dominating position.
Yeah, ShoWTimE is not ready. This is bad.
And then there's a drop that hits his 3rd. I think it's Widow Mines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Clem is so sick.
Yeah, he's playing super well.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. Doesn't get much
Storm isn't ready yet.
It's going to pick that off, too, that Templar.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. I mean, this has already paid for itself. And he still has mines at his 3rd. This is the kind of game where when you're playing Protoss, you're like, how do I even beat Terran? You know? This was a very well played game from Clem.
Yeah. No, he just played very well. It didn't feel like, I guess the finesse thing was the 2 mines with the tank. That's kind of the cool, unique thing that he brought to this. I haven't seen that location with a tank and 2 mines on. I've never really seen someone do that in this matchup, but against what he was playing against, it really seems to make sense.
If I covered up this name tag, who would you think it is? I don't think you.
Are
think
you telling me what
Clem.
tournament we're in? Is this just a blind replay?
It's just a blind replay.
Do I know it's ShoWTimE?
No, you don't know it's ShoWTimE.
I don't know it's ShoWTimE.
Just cover both of them up, and I'm asking you who the Terran is. Don't tell you anything else.
It's a hard one. Let me think.
I think it's a hard one too. I don't think Clem. That's for sure. First thing.
Well, Clem doesn't come to my mind too much because he's still new. I haven't seen as many of his games as other people, so I figure if you're asking me, it's probably someone. See, a lot of my what comes to my mind, I'm like, well, if I know it's ShoWTimE, then I know it's a WCS game. I know it's not a Korean, right? So
that doesn't count, right? That's why I said you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I could have guessed that the Protoss was a foreigner, which would have made me think that the Terran's a foreigner because the build that ShoWTimE's using, I actually really like this build. I use this build a lot, but it's a little bit dated to go like Oracle's third base charge.
It feels zesty though.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little
but
zesty. I could think
he
of
normally goes like Phoenixes if he's going to go third base and charge.
I agree.
But yeah, it is a little bit of a dated build. Is all I'm trying to say, right? This isn't the way that modern professional
Let's just ignore
Koreans
the
play.
Protoss as much as we can, because
Sure.
You're trying to be like Sherlock Holmes here.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, well, based off of this, I think it's Clem.
Yeah. Well, no, I wouldn't get to Clem with that.
I get some special vibes. I get some Maru vibes, but nothing decisively.
Oh, sure.
Definitely some special vibes. I feel though. This is like reminds me a lot of special versus stats. And
I feel like there's several players I could say that this is because it's still early enough in the game. I could almost say it's alive, but not quite. There's something a little bit different from Alive's play, but it's not that far off.
Right, or Bunny or someone like that.
Yeah.
This is really interesting because I don't decisively think it's anybody, which means that Clem is kind of bringing together a lot of different plays. You know, from like
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like he's got his own flavor. And if we saw many replays, like maybe after the series, we're like, okay, this is distinguishably Clem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be.
This is Clem.
Could be.
But before the replays, like it doesn't feel specifically like anybody, which is really cool. Don't get me wrong. It's really cool that we're not like, this is definitely this player. Because that means, like I said, he's incorporating things into his own play. Like even this tank stuff kind of gave me innovation-esque vibes, so it's just very interesting.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. I think we should jump into the next one. That's that was interesting though. Just even seeing the charge targets being a little bit off.
It's interesting he went for the timing push even though he lost his entire army. Like,
yeah. No, it was perfect. It was kind of neat. It was kind of neat. I feel like I could actually watch that replay twice more and really comb over for like what he's scouting and stuff. But we have a lot of replays to go through. So,
thank you, Maynard, for the host. Appreciate you, buddy.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Game 2. Do you want to just jump to Game 4 for no reason?
No. Okay. Do we know the? Probably don't. Who do you think would pick that map, the first map? Because then we know the map order.
New Repugnancy? Clem.
Yeah, I think so.
I would say.
Makes sense to be a Clem map.
Protosses generally don't want to play there against Terran.
I agree. Is this Kings? What is this?
Cyber.
Oh, okay. Cyber's an okay Protoss map, right?
Yeah, I think Cyber Force is totally fine.
Yeah, definitely. Now that I think about it, too. We think about the jump spots, too. Like, it just makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of comfortable. I like how thin the middle is. You can really slow down Terran pushes there.
I also like the way the structure of the map lends itself to be really easy to scout drops. Like,
that's
observer
true.
here, observer here, and then this is your base. So your army's generally situated somewhere around here.
Yeah.
So it's pretty comfortable to defend almost everything.
Yeah. Your main base is like kind of large for drops, but you already know about that, so it's not really.
That's actually not even. Doesn't feel that bad as long as they don't just like snipe structures. It's kind of nice to not be like right on your nexus. Like if you build your
I agree that for like building stuff, it's kind of nice. But just when I play this map, I'm like, damn, that's a big main to cover, right?
I agree. That's really annoying versus Zerg specifically.
All right, so Cybercore first.
Cybercore first lends itself to be more aggressive on the CC.
And he actually went for his orbital before the command center this game.
Okay, so if we see a bunker, then we've cracked the code.
Maybe.
But
until we see him break. Wow, that's.
Wow. What?
I thought probes were supposed to be good.
That was a bit of a mistake.
Ooh, that was a sick kill.
A pretty big mistake too. Well, this is going to be really, really annoying. The CC will finish. It will finish, I believe. Okay. Yeah. That's annoying. Oh my god. He's really close to losing that too. Oh, by the way, I just remember.
Yeah?
So the person who said the keyboard was closer to your hands was sort of. And you know what he does? He takes the F1, 2, 3 keys.
Yeah.
And he rotates them like this because he said it's closer to your fingers. Like,
Oh, he puts the
go
keys
up?
upside down?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, actually. I like that part, but putting the keyboard up doesn't make any sense on the...
I thought you would make fun of him more for that. But
no, that's
so
that's kind of interesting. So because the F keys, distance-wise, we're going to have an episode on keyboards and hotkeys and stuff like that, because I am actually super fascinated with things like this.
Yeah, we can. We can also ask a bunch of players about their preferences.
Yeah.
Do that as well. Okay. So this is already pretty bad. This just feels really bad as a Terran player. He's not producing SCVs. This is one of the biggest things I found with my play, is I would focus so hard on dealing with the adepts that my SCV production would stop, and I'd be behind just based off of that.
Yeah.
It stopped for a couple seconds, but I don't think a player of Clem's caliber should make that mistake because it's so obviously a mistake for me. Like I'm like I lost a couple SCVs, but I'm down like 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it just takes so much energy to just micro and not, lose SCVs. Again, opening with the Viking. We see another Stargate this time. We see a Robo this time.
Twilight opener first.
Okay.
So this is a very modern opener that we're seeing from ShoWTimE this time.
4/23rd. This is basically similar timed. So maybe my hypothesis was somewhat incorrect then. Because you can take your third relatively fast.
Well, I think Stargate gives you the potential quickest third.
I agree.
But it matters what you want to do, like what order. Yeah, see, that's why I like this map for PvT. Right there.
Yes. Yeah, this is great.
You're not coming up that ramp for free.
This is pretty nice. It's 2 tanks and almost no Marines. I feel like this was such a good play, like for ShoWTimE. If you think about it, if he opened Stargate first, what would he even have right now? You'd have a couple Oracles, maybe. There's a Viking, a bunch of Marines. If he had a Phoenix or 2, that wouldn't be good. Like, he couldn't really have a good army here, especially if he went 1 gate and then Nexus.
Yeah, well, the 1 gate Nexus stuff not many people do because lots of Terrans are pressuring.
Give him 3 gates. Still doesn't feel good to deal with this tank Marine push. I feel like this push from Clem is actually really good against Stargate, but not very good against Twilight.
Yeah.
Like, thinking of this Stalker count is just too scary. I don't even know if Clem will push through here, seeing that many Stalkers.
I think Stargate in general, it's not as good of an opener right now because Terrans are making more units in the early game. I think it's better, like, for instance, if you hit someone going 3 CC quickly with Stargate, you're like, oh, I'm in good shape. But yeah, I think Twilight and Robo should be able to hold on against almost everything. Robo against everything and Twilight against almost everything early.
I agree. Like, I don't even know how... Ooh. That's... Oh, does he get it? Okay, he gets it. That's nice. But at this point, still, like, Blink Stalkers on the other side of this, it's no way.
Yeah, you're never...
My bet is he just goes home.
Yeah.
Although, wow, that was a sick snipe. I just want to see that. Let's watch ShoWTimE's camera. Loses the observer. Like, the game sense, this madman. Like... Do you think this is to catch reinforcements and he gets lucky?
No, he got lucky on that. It's definitely he was walking around to either catch reinforcements or do some harassment, send him home.
Yeah, that's sick. Oh, he gets a tank.
Oh my god.
I'm surprised really smart.
I'm surprised Clem even stayed out there. Like, what's Clem doing? Okay, he's going back now because he knows that the Stalkers are still behind him.
Yeah, I would have thought, like I said right here, like as soon as he saw the Stalkers on the other side, he just returns home.
Yeah. The thing is, even if you get into position, if you're playing against Twilight, if you see that many Stalkers, first off, it's Twilight, or almost certainly Twilight, and if it's not Twilight, he has an Immortal too. So...
Yeah, I agree. And this kind of stuff is just so annoying if your army's not at home. There's almost no situation where you're able to, like, break them, and if you can't break them, what's the point of sitting on the map and taking, attrition almost? At this point, like, ShoWTimE is a million miles ahead.
Yeah, he's doing well.
He's ahead in workers. He's ahead in army. He's ahead in tech, basically.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, so this is basically the same build that we saw from Clem in the last game. I just want to throw that out there.
Except the original push was different.
Yeah, like, but it's the similar type of play where you're going for the 3 racks. This game he made 2 tanks instead of 1 tank. Other than that, I think it's like basically exactly the same, right? And
yeah, I agree.
Obviously, we didn't have the shade in that killed a tank.
We should have taken down next time. We should have taken down the timing of when the push happened, because I'm curious how much this timing differentiates from the first game. It's even 1 engineer bay. It's exactly the same. The third is a little bit faster.
Well, he didn't lose 9 SCVs this game.
Exactly, I was going to say. So this feels like basically an identical push with the same or different opener, which is really interesting.
I feel like actually he made 3 tanks this game, but I think he's screwing around in the center too much.
I agree.
And I don't understand what he's trying to gain against Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should just pull his units here and here, and then just go with everything in one big push.
Again, a lot of it's about critical mass with Terran in the early game, where eventually you start to explode in supply as Terran, and they all support each other well. But right here, it's like the Blink Stalkers want to fight this so badly.
No medevacs either, no concussive. I think the only time you can be on the map with this is concussive and maybe medevacs, because you're going to take pot shots.
Well, this is the Protoss dream. You're whittling units down. It's
he's still out
like
here.
Those early 3 gates that you got to be safe are really paying off now, because he's going for something mid game, and you were playing safe early game, and now you gain for it.
I agree.
Whereas he should gain for it if he just sits back.
Oh, this is smart.
Yeah, that was nice.
If you're a Terran player and you see a bunch of stalkers idle, don't just attack them. You should run past them like he did.
Yes.
Because they're going to blink. If you run past them, like if the stalkers are here and you run past them, when they blink back, they'll still be in range. That's the reason why you do that. And you don't alert them. Like a lot of players won't move immediately, especially in the lower levels. Some players at the high level don't give a fuck about the alerts. They're just like, oh, I see everything. But lower level players for sure won't just be like, oh, my stalker's about to be attacked. So if you don't alert them by like shooting off a shot immediately, you can usually get around them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this push just feels so much smaller than it should be at this point. I love the mine drop. This stuff is so great because even if your push gets cleaned up, if they're paying attention to deal with this push, the mine drop goes off, and then you're like, well, now we're even, right? As long as you don't just lose everything for free. This is his army right now?
Let's look at this. 51 SCVs, 62 probes. Yeah, it's a little bit small army at the moment.
Imagine
Templar.
The bio would be a lot bigger right now if he didn't mess around. Plus, he could have at least another tank.
Well, there is Psystorm out right now, right? So that's kind of a big deal.
Oh, and they're in the port for some. That's so cool because you're like this. You're like, oh, he doesn't have any storms or anything, and they drop them and just kill your army.
Yeah, I mean, you won't. Not every Protoss is going to go for storm this quickly. So
you get overconfident. You know, you're like, you assess an army. You're like, I can kill that army, and then these drop out. And you're like, I can't kill that army. You know.
I think when you see the prison with it, you're starting to figure it out. Everyone's doing this now. Let's check it out.
Okay. I like the scan. The scan is really, really good, guys, because if the army's just right here, like, he probably just sieges up immediately, but seeing the army up here gives him at least some time to think about how he wants to engage this. Also, it allows him to kind of coordinate his attack with the mine drop. Totally worth it. It's very interesting. At this point, ShoWTimE should already know where to go, though. Like, Terran players scan where they attack so much.
Every time, actually. Yeah. If you're scanned anywhere, warp in there right now.
Yeah, especially if it's in the main. Okay, this is bad. He's just like, I'm getting out of here. This is retreat mode. Ooh.
Oh, we got 5 probes? Okay.
Ooh. Wow. Wish we could see if they're on cooldown in the medevac.
Yeah, they are. Because he lost 5 probes, so they have to be.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Almost. Alright. Well, Clem's attacks have basically been faltering, but his supply stays pretty high, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's a Terran thing. Like, I mean, if you're not losing a bunch of stuff, the production is really, really, like, fluid. You almost always have a higher army supply at this point in the game.
What do you think the dream mid-game is for Terran? Because I've found that, speaking from personal experience, if I try to go, like, mines and Marauder and Bio, it doesn't feel that safe. But when I go into libs or something like that, I feel like I can't push out either without having like a critical mass.
Yeah. I think that it varies based on what Protoss is doing as well. Like whether they have Colossus or Templar is a big part. But against this type of composition, when Terrans play it for too long without Liberators, I just get confused.
Right.
Because I'm like,
yeah,
they're just going to run around you and do whatever they want, and you can't do anything about it. And we see a lot of Terrans losing those situations. Like I was really critical of Gumiho for doing that a lot lately, where he's just like, "No, I will not make a Liberator. I won't do it." And he just ends up dying.
Right. Yeah, like his supply is pretty high, but at the same time, it doesn't feel efficient against what ShoWTimE is doing. I guess the Ghost Academy makes a lot of sense, right? Because we saw Templar Storm already. This is interesting attack.
Yeah, I think it's fine to get the Ghost right now.
One thing to note is his vision has basically been unhindered. Look at this vision. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
This is what distinguishes a good Protoss from a mediocre one, by the way. Like, I found that my games, I have a way higher win rate if I can establish like a full circle around my base.
Yeah. Well, it's so much about that. That's like what Terrans do to try to win. Let's catch you off guard with some drops.
He's so good at finding these observers. He's scanned like every single time an observer is just sitting there. I don't know if it's his settings or if he just like has the force and can just sense them. Because they don't make sounds. It's just like a fucking shade that you have to like do this kind of stuff over.
Just see them.
I remember when they first figured out that Terrans could like do this kind of stuff, and it would shimmer, you know?
Oh, really?
Did you know that?
No.
So when you watch Beyond play, like he'll just periodically do this with his camera. Like way back before anyone figured it out.
Oh,
and we're like, what is he doing that for? And it's to look for observers. Because they shimmer a bit when you do this.
Wow.
So it's like a...
That's crazy.
If you
I like stuff like that.
Yeah, if you watch a Terran player, they'll periodically do that over their army to make sure there's no observer. Because realistically, you're not going to see it if you don't move your camera a little bit.
I love the continual Widowmine production here.
I'm curious if we can do this in the... Oh, yeah, see, look, watch. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah.
You see it?
Can see it.
So
yeah,
it's really
because the background is changing.
Yeah, it's really obvious when you do this.
Now go back up. Go back up all the way. Yeah, that's a little bit hard to see otherwise.
You basically can't see it. But when you do this, it's so obvious, right?
Yeah, it really pops.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so cool that
that's wild.
Terran players figured that out.
I had no idea actually about that.
It's really cool. I remember watching that. I'm like, why is he doing that? It doesn't make any sense. And then he'd scan for an observer. I'm like, oh my god, he's so good.
So, hold on, you're missing a drop down here that happened.
Oh.
This was an interesting thing to me, right? Because when this attack was first coming in, he picked up everything went. I actually want to go back.
Yeah, we should
just a little bit
because that was
it was super cool to hear about that because I wasn't aware. So right about here, I think, is when he lifts up. Okay, so I'm looking at these armies, right? Definitely looks like ShoWTimE's army is stronger, especially because he has High Templar in here. He was attacking these rocks, so you can tell he has the idea of going down here. But I love this building placement. I want to point out this is so good anti-charge law. It's like if you attack in here with Protoss, your charges are either going to be wasted or they're going to funnel.
And I agree. And also the command center doesn't just get clicked on.
Yeah, you can't just right-click the command center. The AI is going to be really screwed up. So this is a great defensive kind of build-up. I really like it. And the thing is, they're tech labs, they aren't reactors, so it's not the biggest deal in the whole world if you take a bit of damage over here.
And your ghosts pop out right there too.
Yeah.
It's just nice. I agree.
It's cool. So he's kind of focusing his defense here, knowing that if he has to fight up here, he'll be all right, and he has time. But when I look at how much bigger this army is, I was kind of caught off guard when he just lifts up a big chunk. Let's see when he does it here. It's going to be in a second.
I think defensively, Clem's army wins this fight.
Yeah, if he's just kiting back and drawing him into all these mines, certainly.
The only thing I would like to see is if there were 2 mines over here, somewhere in here. We're just somewhere, right? Because you can't shift the mines up when the army is already attacking.
But
you know what I mean?
The Zealots are already screwed in that area. This army is almost all the power of the army is in the charge lots.
I agree. I just think the mine splashing here would be great, and you can't rotate the mines up. So, but
well, let's see
my only worries too is your army's gonna bunch up here, and if you can storm from over here somewhere or something like that, that would be really annoying.
Yeah, I mean. The thing is, I think you're not.
Your army here, right?
No, I don't think you sit your army there. Actually,
So
I think what you do is your army is basically here, and as the units, because the thing is, ShoWTimE would probably be down here using move commands a lot because he doesn't want to charge in when you're sitting here. So eventually, when he starts to, you can like run forward and then kite back, right? Like run this way and then kite back this way. And the Zealots are they're super dead. Like you would never want to attack in here with this army.
Right.
Like it would be okay to break this down and like let the Stalkers hit, let the Immortal hit, and try to bait Terran out.
I agree.
That could be a good move, and I think that's why he's being really active down here, is because otherwise, he can get abused. Because, like you were saying, this army doesn't really look like it beats that army, but yeah, maybe in these situations where you're kiting back on your mines.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the decision to pick up and
this is an interesting one. Let's check it.
Full scan sees the army fully.
Yeah,
so he should
sees it running. Insta. Look at how quick that is. That's decisive.
And the rocks go down too.
Yeah, he sees another warp in of Zealots there and everything. Okay, let's see what he does. Follow Clem's vision.
Yeah. Okay, let's watch Clem's vision. He already knows the rocks are down.
Okay, so...
Oh, by the way, what the... ShoWTimE clears these rocks and then just goes through
I think it's because the army was to the south. You want to get the charge on them while they're on the high ground. Because if you're chasing them down and away, the Zealots suck, but if you're chasing them against a wall, the bio sucks.
This is interesting. Okay, let's watch this out. I really like the move, actually, to pick up now that I think about it.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense, but it's also so risky, To make that call so snap, like, instantly is such a sick thing.
What is your worst case as Clem, though? Is it base trade?
I think the worst case is this army just clears yours completely.
Well, I don't think you're going to get cleared because you're going to run over a minefield. It's going to take him time to clear this.
Right.
Worst case, in the whole world, you lift your third and you go up into your natural, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe he starts breaking the natural, but you have your reinforcements
maybe
there.
if the Templar come in and start... I think the worst case is you actually do lose this army because, like, Protoss can just run through it. Even it would be terrible trade. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's a good trade. I do think they...
How many mines are in there?
That's a lot.
that is too many mines. That is too many mines.
Perhaps this is why Clem thought this would be the best case scenario, because he thought that his army would never die to this.
Yeah, and the thing is, he just saw a full warp into the right, so he knows that this counter drop is going to do insane damage, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not even going to be a warp in round ready.
And even if there is, this is a massive drop.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to stim down and clear the bio.
You're killing at least one base with this drop.
Let's keep watching Clem's view.
Yeah.
This replay is actually really long. Yeah, he's just...
Look at that. Yeah, you're just pulling him over the mines.
Yep, just staying near his mines.
I like that. He gives a full run back, just knowing the mines are going to cover him.
Look at this.
Gets the Nexus. And here it comes.
Oh!
Oh, that was really good.
Was this... Why? Why are there stalkers in this prism?
Micro error.
Okay, because that's a pretty big deal, actually. Like, if there's 4 Templar in this prism, and they don't get EMP'd there, this is like 4... It's a lot more storms here.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, let's keep watching. Very interesting game so far, though. I'd love to see him just pick up and go to the main now. Wow. It feels like a mistake for ShoWTimE to not try and do something here.
Oh, yeah.
At all.
Like I would even use the storms there.
Yeah, I agree. Or, like, do something.
Well, he should wreck that. Like, I think as soon as ShoWTimE's pushing down here, you have to...
Look at the army size. It's just nothing. And the 4th base is cleared up.
Well, he whittled down all the Zealots during that. Like, I think that's why you can lift up in that area that we were talking about before, right? If ShoWTimE tries to come down too quickly, like, you can come down slowly and be efficient as ShoWTimE, but you can't come down quickly because there was, like, 10 mines.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think. Like, imagine that drop never happened, and we're in this position. We've got the 4th base is fine. There's no, like, ShoWTimE can fully, keep his attention here fully, right? He probably wouldn't make that mistake with the Prism. He'd probably have perfect storms. This base would probably be dead, and our army's not any better, honestly.
Yes, it's very true. The 3 medevacs of units, that many more units,
do shit.
It just gets hit by storm more.
Yeah, exactly. This is such a smart play from Clem.
Yeah, this is great.
And it's such a snap play, too. Like, I don't think very many, well,
he was
very
quick to do it.
Yeah.
And being decisive is, like,
what makes
one of the most important
really
things in StarCraft.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's watch it. I mean, like, this army already feels, like, terrible. Like,
yeah, you can't do too much more with that.
Yeah, I don't think he can. And, okay, let's watch if he does do something here. I kind of... One sec. Let's do this one more time. I know we're spending a lot of time on this. I just want to watch ShoWTimE's perspective throughout this. Like...
Okay.
Well, watch when he gets scanned, because when he scans the Protoss army, that's when he decides to go for it.
Yeah, he moves back. ShoWTimE's like, all right, let me get up
pick
here.
Up. Pick up
do my big warp in. Gonna go back. Doesn't see the medevacs. Could notice that there's only 2 medevacs with the army suddenly.
Yeah.
That's something that I think
a good, really good
if
player
you're
would
really on top of things. I think even I mean,
I think it still does damage.
Yes, but I think you know that. Oh shit! I have to recall.
I agree. So like watching ShoWTimE's vision, like you can already see that he's dedicating a lot more time to his base than he would like to, and he kind of needs to, right? Like you would love to just baby this whole engagement for the entire time, but like look, he's getting attacked, and he still hasn't been able to react to both sides. It's like he's doing both poorly, right? Like the engagement's not sick, and the defense is also not sick.
It's hard to even do a defense because you had to wait for the warping around, then you just warped in Zealots, and look at what Clem did. Look at where he ran to against the Zealots. Like he instantly made an area for himself to fight those Zealots as best he can.
And he gets his medevacs out. Wow.
God. It was really good.
All right, now let's take a look at Clem's base, because at this point, look, Clem is just on the map, you know? Like this is sick. Like he doesn't take any time to let ShoWTimE regather his army and come back out.
Yeah.
He's like, no. You've given me an inch. I'm taking everything I want now. You know? Like he goes for this. He goes for this. Like he is so aggressively on the map now that you don't really establish your position here anymore. Because if you do, you lose your third, or you lose your nat, or, you know, because this army's going to engage in the middle somewhere. This is so sick. Okay, let's watch Clem one more time.
He's preparing more upgrades. He's already started his 4th CC.
Look at this counterattack is just so decisive too. I think at this point you're willing to give up your third even. This was really nice by ShoWTimE. Really good decision making here.
The snipe.
This could have gone really bad. Let's just go from everybody's perspective again.
That is a hell of a lot of stalkers.
Yeah.
My God.
What do you think about that?
I find it weird.
I find it weird too.
He's playing on 1-2 against 1-1.
17 stalkers. Wait, how many Archons?
You know what it might be?
6. Oh my God.
Jeez. Well, his Zealots have been getting wrecked because this is so Widowmine heavy. It's a very Widowmine heavy play that Clem has been doing. Like, let's not forget he switched to the reactor both games pretty early and made lots of mines. So maybe it has to do with that.
Look at this.
I feel like it's too many though.
This is crazy. Maybe the stalkers blink, kill the medevacs, and the storms go off. I think this is like a medevac clearing squad now. This is enough.
Well, you have so many stalkers, you're going to be able to clear a lot of stuff, but it feels weird with them on this side. It feels really brutal. If Clem micros towards the stalkers, he's going to trade really well.
Clem is about to be really sad. I can feel it. Let's watch.
Okay.
Oh. This is not as bad as I thought he would be. Oh. Okay, tactical pause there. Where was the flanks? I felt like the flank was actually really sick.
Yeah, he never brought it in.
And now we're fighting on Clem's turf a little bit more than I would think.
Kind of fighting uphill a little bit there.
Yeah,
doesn't have his army together.
I really like the initial flank that was set up, but now it's just like one big. Oh my God!
Oh, there you go. Well, there it is.
I retract everything I just said. Look at this army; it's just so squishy.
Templar drops are good. Look at how strong this army is now too. My God, he's got 2 too.
Yeah. Planetary Fortress. It's still anybody's game. I've more on ShoWTimE's than
It feels like you can't deny ShoWTimE killing a base or 2.
Right now, yeah.
His army's too strong now.
Especially with the stalkers on this command center now.
Yeah.
Do you think that's any decision making on like why you go so many stalkers?
I think if you put everything together, the way Clem is playing massacres charge lots. Just in general, like his composition, the mines, the building placement, everything he's done so far this game has just destroyed it. So
when did we start incorporating immortals too?
Yeah,
I think at the same time you started doing stalkers.
Pretty early. No, he had an immortal in the first army too.
Okay, I like this. This is a nice command center killing amount of stalkers. Wow.
Yeah, see this little area?
Yeah.
You can't do anything through there.
I agree. This is so sick. Even the command center is gone and it's still sick. Like, honestly, if this bio wasn't so hurt, he could probably take it. Like if this was full HP bio,
I think the storms just wreck everything for him.
I think ideally you'd not let them storm you, but
well, I think you have no choice. You're going to eat some storms. Like you can't just
some
stop all the
If you eat
storms.
some storms now, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Look at these Templar, these madmen. What? Sure, that's fine. Remember when EMP was really, or feedback was really sick and it just killed whatever it feedbacked all the time?
It was so awesome.
Yeah. Felt like the sickest.
Well, it was like not even a question. I saw something I would feedback it just every time.
It feels weird now. I feedback
now
a
there's a
medevac
choice.
and it's got like 1 HP like down. I'm like, what?
Like normally their medevacs are already out of energy anyways.
I was so sick you just leave a Templar here and you're like, well, I've got infinite drop defense.
Yeah.
Could feedback like 4 medevacs.
The good old days.
The good old days, yeah. Why do you think we're not as... Oh, never mind. Do you know what I was going to say?
As aggressive on our drops?
Well, I was going to say, why do you think like we've done the same thing before? Like, you know, we're on the back foot again.
Yeah.
I was going to say, why don't we just go for the drop again? And then, yeah, he didn't.
Yeah.
So I retract my statement.
ShoWTimE is walking around with a
You
bit
just
of a
ignore
death
this,
ball.
or do you go for it?
Oh, you ignore.
Okay.
What?
We're both wrong.
Okay.
I mean,
thought
he's
for
just
sure
gonna
you'd
cancel
ignore
it.
that.
I agree. Or not. Too much stuff going on.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
He's so low on energy on these medevacs. Makes me very nervous.
Yeah, this would have been sick against the old feedback.
That's true.
I don't really like ShoWTimE's base layout.
Why?
It feels like it blocks a lot of his zealots, except I guess up here.
Oh. Well, the
we
way
had
that he's playing, drops in the main are not a huge concern because he's staying aggressive and his map vision's insane. So I think it's like okay. It's not optimal for zealots, but you got to build the gates when you need them, you know?
Right.
And the pylon, you know, doesn't power much area. You know.
Oh. Well, at least he saves 2, I guess. Oh my god.
Look at Clem's attack up at the top, too.
It's everywhere. The madman. ShoWTimE was really quick at responding to this, too. Oh. Nice. This is some sick engagements.
Yeah, I feel like overall the disruptor play hasn't been that great, but I like that he got disruptors. Feels like it should be good against this comp. He's sending them out from kind of far back. I feel like you got to make the engagement and then do it.
I mean, it's nice because it stops the Terran from snowballing. Like a lot of the time we see one engagement go well, the Terran just takes you and like kills you completely. But you can't really do that against disruptors because they just change the game so quickly if you rush in. Such a sick game from both players, honestly.
Yeah. I'm quite enjoying the way that Clem is playing. I've always enjoyed ShoWTimE's play. He's my type of Protoss, but
yeah, I feel like these guys would be great practice partners. Like they would get way better at their respective matchups if they just played like a ton of games together.
Yeah,
because they seem to be able to tax each other in the right ways. Like Clem is always doing drops that ShoWTimE isn't ready for, and ShoWTimE seems to be great at just like Protossing. I don't know how to explain it. Like he does a great job.
He makes a really strong army and walks it around very well.
Yeah. These are sick. These are sick medevacs.
Oops. I didn't mean that. How do I get that off?
What are you trying to do?
The APM thing.
Oh.
Why did you bring us back to the beginning?
I thought I was doing the right one. Control. What is it? Control.
I don't know.
Nope. I don't know. Okay, that's good.
There you go. Okay, that's a good way to do it.
Way to go.
I don't know anything about this game.
Did we miss anything? I don't think so. Okay.
No.
Oh yeah, here's the drops that we saw before. 20 minutes, and we're only taking our 5th base from both players. Do you feel like that's slower than normal?
Yeah, of course it is. But The game has been so aggressive, I guess. We've seen a lot of bases killed off.
It's really interesting that both players are taking their fifths, respectively, similar times. Like, do you think this is because they don't feel like they have that much pressure, or do you think it's because they're starting to mine out? I think it might be
well,
both.
I mean, I think this is just the time you have to as your minerals are waning, but I wonder if that would be a completely normal thing, but not sure.
That's nice. They're so good. Like, look at their flanks.
I find these two armies that ShoWTimE's walking around with kind of interesting.
I find the same with Clem, though, too.
Got to see what's actually coming in. It's funny seeing force fields use this late into the game like that. Like, isn't that an early game thing?
This is so cool. I would love to see TVP played like this every time, because this feels like
no, this is a really exciting, cool game.
This feels like the most organic TVP, because I was actually talking about this with you earlier, where I felt like TVP became a little bit stagnant in the meta, but this is like not a stagnant TVP at all.
No.
This was very up in the air. Even now, I'm not 100% sure who wins the game. So
Yeah.
And the game should end soon. Okay, now I know who it is. Actually, no, I don't. Never mind. I was wrong. I saw Colossus dying. I'm like, I know which one it is. And now I think it's not that one. What a game.
Yeah, no, this is a really good one. How many medevacs he has? Jeez.
Yeah, maybe a few too many.
I mean, he can for a parasitic bomb.
Oh my god. Or a storm. Oh god. I love the DTs just mixed in. Even if you're just not scanning, you don't think about it. Like, they can do so much damage. Okay, ShoWTimE is just everywhere now. Look,
this was
What are you trying to do? Yeah, what a game. I think if you're Clem in this game, you feel not bad about the series, you know?
Oh, of course.
Because the early game went pretty much as poorly as it could.
Yeah, this game felt to me like it could have ended much earlier and been kind of a boring game, where it's just like, yeah, no, that push came. But the more I'm watching this now, like, I really like the way that Clem is playing, where he's really countering charge lots heavily, because that's like the backbone of these Twilight armies, right? So he's doing like a great job against that, and he made a couple very decisive moves that kept him in the game and made it very interesting.
And then you see an organic transition from ShoWTimE as well, right? It's like, oh, he's countering my charge lots. It's time to go more heavy stalker or immortal Archon.
That was interesting. Like, the amount of Archons he made, I think that was for tanking a lot. Against heavy Widow Mines, I don't know that that's the greatest. And even against the Widow Mines, like, generally when I see an army like that, I'm going to get into either Disruptors or Colossus more quickly, because those feel like better counters. But, I mean, he was Gateway heavy. He had good Protoss upgrades, right? So...
What I felt like Clem didn't really care about the Colossus that game. There weren't very many, I guess.
Yeah, no, they came out so late. They came out after
like no
4
Viking,
Disruptors. It was very,
I kind of
late.
like when Protosses go for the Colossus originally, and then the Terran's like, okay, well, I'm going to make a bunch of Vikings to deal with that. And then you sneak in a couple Disruptors, like, I've killed the Colossus, but now I just have these useless Sky Army units that I have to drop down and die.
Yeah.
And they're quite expensive.
It does feel like a waste a lot of the time.
Yeah. But obviously, if you go too hard on Colossi, it's really bad for you. So, like, that's why the magic number, I think, is 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah, no, I think 3 Colossi is exactly the right number almost every single time. All right, so this is game number 3.
All these games are so long. We might even have time for the other series.
That's possible. That's okay, though. I'm cool with that.
I agree. I think it's really cool to deep dive on these players. So
we must go deeper. Is that the quote?
I'm curious to see if Clem goes for another one of those timings we pointed out. We still didn't take down the...
Are you talking about the 3
like
barracks?
The 3 barracks double tech lab stim combat timing?
Yeah. Well, I think it is always because he's hitting the +1 stim, so it would make sense. What I'm interested in is if he plays like another normal game here, is he switching over and just staying on the heavy mines once again?
Maybe
a little bit different. A little bit different.
Hellion drop. I love Hellion drop.
It's a good mix.
So good. Oh my god, it's so good. Especially if you don't know it's coming. This is kind of why Protosses do this blind wall, because Hellion drops are so annoying.
I'm always confused as to how Protosses choose whether or not to make the wall.
I think it has a lot to do with the map.
I think that really on any map, if you make 4 Hellions, if Terrans went 4 Hellions every single game, they would win a lot more games because so many Protosses just skip it. They're like, no, I'm not making a wall this game. I'm like, what did you scout that told you that? Oh, that's a good catch right there. Still a lot of damage.
Yeah, if he was really good, he could pick these up. Look, oh, he could. I think he was going to. I guess it doesn't matter because the Medevac's gonna die.
Love it. I love zipping back in and letting the Oracle run out of as much energy as possible. Yeah. That was great, though. 9 kills, so worth.
He's going to drop it again. Look at that.
10 kills. Wow.
Still alive. Has full vision. Sees the Tech Lab and the Stargate. One thing I'm curious is, like, ShoWTimE had no vision of this coming, but the way he sends his Oracle is really interesting, right?
It seems like a scouting Oracle, doesn't it? Or is he just...
Where was the original click? Yeah, right?
Yeah, that looks like a scouting Oracle, because if you're just aiming to hit the natural, you just send it all the way to the bottom.
I think a lot of people would build their starport even more aggressively, too, than where it is. Like, some people will build it over here.
Okay.
Just depends on the player. But I really like this. If the Oracle or the thing went in like this, you wouldn't have thought, but nobody does that. He's so fast, too. I have to imagine this is exactly what he's looking for, too. Right?
Well, he has the wall at the front, so it's something coming in the back that would be painful. Let's not forget, Marine Lord kind of made some of these funny builds on this map that Special used and stuff, so it has to be something that's fresh in his mind. Possibilities of things coming in the back on Automaton.
He's looking for the starport immediately. Very nice. Incredibly interesting decision to go Cloak Banshee when seeing an Oracle and a Stargate, by the way.
No, I think that's the counter, actually.
Why?
Because it makes them keep their Oracles at home and stuff. Like, for a while, that was considered the counter to Stargate. Like, when Maru started popping Cloak Banshee in, we weren't seeing Cloak Banshee for... Wow, that's a weird thing. But, yeah, last year, Maru started throwing in Cloaked Banshees because everyone was going Stargate. It's, like, actually very good.
Wow.
Look at this. What is this?
I don't know what it is. Wait, I want to see if he's setting up... Oh, he is setting it up. Look. He's got the stim combat timing again. Identical push from the last game, except this time it's with bunkers.
And he's in a very different position. Remember, on Cyber Force, he just got stopped in the center forever and lost units. But what is this setup? Like, it's so far out in the middle of everything, and it's so not actually scary. Can't you, as Protoss, just sit in the middle of the map and stop reinforcements and then kill it when you're ready?
Looks like he's what he's about to do, actually.
Like,
he might just be like, you know what, I'm going to attack you.
Yeah, counterattack, sure, yeah. I mean, can't you just do anything against this because he's building bunkers on the side of the map?
I don't know either. It's really interesting. You know what we should do? We should take down notes of every single opener Clem goes for into this build. Because I think so far we've seen 3 separate openers. Like, we saw the Hellion drop one time. We saw the... What was the first time with the Marine tank push, you know, in the middle on... was it Cyberforest? Or
Cyberforest was map 2, right? And that was
what did he do in the beginning?
The push.
Because he did this push again, except he did it with a...
Yeah, no, that was he had a the Widowmine drop didn't come till later, so no, it was just that. It was just straight into that.
And it's just, why wouldn't he just do this every time then? Because it's the same timing basically, isn't it?
No, this is later. This is like everything is quite a bit later this time. Because look, it's 6 minutes right now, and he's just starting Stimmen +1. So it's
so it delays.
But I think in general this is what you want before the 3rd command center. Like, that's what it seems to be.
He's just going to take this Nexus.
Yeah. No reason not to. Really.
Well, Clem, you did it.
This just doesn't do anything.
Get on in that bunker.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's about to get blinked in.
My God. Look at those ripe tech labs.
Well, he's not taking this 3rd, that's for sure.
I mean...
Oh, no. Yeah, this does not feel good.
Oh, he's in some trouble.
It's nice that Clem doesn't just put his tech labs together. Like, some of those games he built his tech labs right next to each other. Could have lost stim and combat.
In this position, I think any time that you spawn on the left side of the map, you have to be very careful about where you mix stim. Oh, that's funny. And he couldn't even see that happen because he's on low ground.
Yeah. This is funny.
That's great.
He's doing a great job of utilizing his units.
I think you just get out of here now.
Yeah.
Diminishing returns.
He's just going to blink out as they get attacked.
Yeah.
Blink. There you go.
Good stuff.
Look at how many Oracle kills. 11 kills. Oh, look.
I
don't get it either.
Because you have all those units there, like, you are just going to lose them.
Mm.
Like, you've slowed down his third, and that's the third you generally want to take.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take this, and then you can take that.
I think it maybe because he thought he was going to lose these. Like, he's trying to preserve
What, he
them.
was too far out?
Yeah, like maybe he thought he was going to get wrapped around if he tried to retreat or something. I don't really understand it. I mean, he had to plan to do this because he brought the SCVs with him. He planned to build bunkers.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no other reason to have these two here.
Maybe it's one of these... Because it was a Stargate opener, there used to be pushes that TY would do against Protoss thirds because they were so fast, where it was like a Viking and like 5 Marines and a mine and 2 SCVs.
Yeah,
do you remember these pushes?
Yeah, I do.
And he would cancel the third a lot. So I don't know. It just it looks very peculiar.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if there was a third. Wow, that's a nice flash damage. I said, imagine if there's a third there. I guess it does do a lot of damage. It probably does get the cancel. Ooh, that was bad.
Oh my God, he's ferrying more units to it.
I don't know
now
about
it's
that.
getting exciting.
It's like we're doubling down on a pretty bad bet here. He's building another bunker. Why? If I'm ShoWTimE, I don't care. Build another stasis ward here and just chill. It's got a full mining base. Do we even know about this? Probably, right?
Yeah, he's seen it.
Yeah, so... well... It would make more sense if you could, like... If the natural mineral line was like this or something, you could build tanks here eventually,
sure.
But right now, I just feel like there's no real...
Okay, now ShoWTimE's decided to kill it.
I mean, this is basically the best case scenario for Clem, and it went pretty poorly.
He's like getting a lot of stalkers.
Yeah, actually, the trades were not as bad as I said.
I think he didn't need to go down there and clear that right now, but maybe because Clem has this... Hold on. Okay, so let's look at this in a... Let's imagine that Clem is right.
Let's go deeper.
We have to go deeper.
Yeah, we have to go deeper.
Let's imagine that Clem's right about this weird thing that we saw that allowed the Blink Stalkers to come over and do a bunch of damage. Let's pretend that he's right. Why would he be right? Okay.
I think
he has this sieged position. First off, that trade-in was not as clean as it could have been. The thing is, those units are so marooned that ShoWTimE can kind of clear at any time. But now that we're in the Stim territory and he's brought over a medevac and some marauders, he now has this thing where he can stim in and harass here. Okay? And normally, if someone's stimming and harassing your natural automaton, you come up and you chase them out, and they have to go like over here.
Right.
Over here. Right? That's far away. Instead, he would only have to run to here. So he is always 1 to 2 seconds from hitting you. Okay? And then the rest of his army can harass over here.
I think the big I think you're onto something with the
So it's like you have to split your army in a funny way here as Protoss because he has, and the thing is, if you only leave a few units, he actually has the 2 tanks and 8 Marines and bunkers too.
I don't think there's any world where you split your army to deal with those 4 bunkers and 2 tanks. You know, I think that's something you need to take your whole army with.
Oh no, I mean when he's harassing with it.
No,
if he just leaves it in the sieged position, then it protects his drop from having to run too far. And then as soon as you bring all your army down here or something, the thing is...
I think he times it. So like as soon as you see the entire army go for your clear, because it's going to clear it eventually, he goes for this.
And it turned out to be efficient because I think ShoWTimE was a little bit overzealous with it.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, it's so weird, though. I think it's one of these things where ShoWTimE was cost inefficient against that, but I think if he plays against it 3-4 times,
I agree.
It will get slammed, I think.
I think he can wait longer and have his army here for longer. Let's go back. I just want to see when he times the counterattack for the... like, is he going... as soon as he gets attacked. Right? So he hasn't been attacked yet. Let's just watch Clem's here.
See, he's starting to harass. The thing is, as soon as you start stimming from there and stuff, Protoss is going to lose their temper and go get it, aren't they?
Right. Yeah, maybe he's putting on
a bit
of pressure.
He just unburrowed. He just unsieged.
And he's doing the pressure now.
So as soon as he's hitting with it, he's deciding to move out.
He's basically masterminding this, right? Where he's like, okay, I'm going to poke your gateway. I'm going to make you annoyed. You're going to go for it eventually. My army's hopefully in the middle of the map by the time you attack me.
Yeah, and so if ShoWTimE is fully committed on the bunkers, he has to clear them. So there's also probably a timing where Clem is actually killing the third. That probably exists. Again, I don't think that this is something that could ever become standard because, I mean, look at it. It looks to me like something that, again, ShoWTimE should be able to smash if he plays.
Do you think he does this because of the wall too? Do you think like in a world you just don't go for this if they don't wall on the low ground? Because there's nothing really to poke here if they don't.
Well, I mean, you can stim up and get. You have a medevac, so you can like get probes on gas and then get out too. I don't think that the wall necessarily has anything to do with it.
Sure.
It doesn't feel like it to me. So he's going to take his third behind this as well. He's kind of like, hey, come fight me, come fight me, come fight me, come fight me, come fight me.
Yeah, look at he's baiting him into attacking him so hard. Come fight me. Does he stim the other army to get there faster?
Blinken was a little bit crazy.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah.
Yeah, look at this. This is so sick.
It's a very interesting play from Clem. I didn't expect to see something like this.
This is actually so efficient.
It did turn out to be efficient.
Yeah. And now he's already on the third. So sick. I think he can stim it down. Okay, he doesn't go for it.
It still seemed very silly, though. When you remember how much ShoWTimE Stalkers did across the map and stuff, there weren't many units there.
Look at this. He seems to hit his timing so well, his stim combat timings. He just hits them so solidly. Like, he's always doing something to limit the Protoss army and then goes for it. And it seems like that's what that bunker thing was for.
To limit the Protoss army. Yeah,
it was
like
to make the army
in the
smaller.
previous game.
Right? And then he hits his timing up perfectly every time. This is such a sick move, by the way, to pick up and go here, because at this point, he's split against mines on one side, and he has to deal with this. So it's kind of a two bad situations.
And about the army reduction thing, because we talked about this a little bit before, where it was like just Marines and tanks against Blink Stalkers. In the very early game, the Blink Stalkers are going to beat everything, and then when you get a little bit later and you have things like Stim and medevacs and stuff, then suddenly you want the smaller fights as Terran. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, like, what do you even do if you're ShoWTimE in this position?
Well,
the medevac
he traded a bit inefficiently, I think, is the main issue with what's going on in this game.
It's kind of hard to trade efficiently unless you wait longer.
Yeah.
Which is what he should have done.
Yeah, I think that is the whole thing. You want the overwhelming mass to kill that. Very, very strange, though.
Clem did a perfect job of, like, annoying the Protoss at the right moments.
I mean, it's very well played by Clem.
He could just back up now. He doesn't need to stay here. 20 probes died. Look at that.
Yeah, I think that's a good statement. Is staying here is not necessarily...
It's just unnecessary, yeah.
I'm not sure what else he's going to get done.
I bet... Oh, wow. This guy is mad. I was going to say, I bet if you scan this, he just leaves, because then he really doesn't need anything to be here. This guy truly believes in the power of Terran.
Ooh, that was nice. That was nice.
Yeah.
Good splitting.
Old feedback would have killed it.
Yeah.
Like, he's mad. He's mad. Look at these medevacs. Just leave.
Yeah.
No, he's still chilling.
I think that this was a little bit overzealous.
Well, I guess he doesn't even care.
Look at his third base. Look at Clem's third. Look at that. I like these buildings. I like the way he's building his buildings.
It's a little bit harder to do this on this map, though.
Yeah.
But yeah. He still has
the idea is still there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you put them all in one hockey, so it doesn't really matter where they are.
It's interesting to look at their hotkeys. Let's go to ShoWTimE's hotkeys. Yeah, look at that. He's got like 3 separate army hotkeys. He's got his Stalker army, he's got his Zealot army, and he's got his Templar army.
That's the way to do it.
And the Terran army just shows up somewhere where it shouldn't be. And it's basically lights out at this point. I love the trying to take a 4th base, because at this point you're like, how do I come back? And the answer is always to do something extremely risky. Like, there's in no world you're like, I'm just playing a normal game. Like, yeah, it's not going to happen.
No. You need high risk, high reward stuff.
Yeah, so like upgrades is a great way of doing it, and like taking a greedy tech or 4th base or something like that. Like, there's 2 questions you should always ask yourself. If you're ahead, you ask, how do I lose? And if you're behind, you ask, how do I win?
It's simplistic, but really true.
Yeah. And generally when you're behind, you don't say, I'm going to win by playing a normal game. You have to do something. That's when we start seeing Terran players go, like, if Terran players are behind, they'll just start going really crazy with their drops. So they're like, you know what, I'm loading up my entire army. There's nothing at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
make a bunch of decisive moves in a row, and if they go right, you can win.
Yeah. And if you're Protoss, you're like, okay, I'm just not going to die to drops because that's basically the only thing I die to now. Or I'm not. It's the same thing. I think about this a lot because I used to get punished by DTs when I'm ahead, and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So every time I'm ahead, I'm like, okay, I'm building a spore. Like I'm not losing this game now.
Totally.
All right. I think this game is closing soon.
Well,
nice pick off there.
Careful about that though.
Yeah.
These two have had some really crazy comebacks against each other.
Addition of ghosts too. This army's a bit too far forward for my liking. Oh no. Ooh, juicy ghosts there. Oh.
Ooh, very good mines.
Where's the... This should have been doing something, I think. Oh, sorry. Again, even this position's not as nice as the last one. It's still so good.
Look at how helpful it is. The Zealots hate to fight in that area. It's like the same thing as they're little tiny Ultralisks. Melee units in general just don't want shit in their way.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Yeah, because this army can just back up to here if he engages like this. He's got like a man-made choke. It's almost like he's got Terran force fields.
Yeah, very much so. You got to redesign the map in your own image.
This engagement sucks.
Yeah, look, Archons too. God, can you get worse than an Archon in that?
Yeah, this is bad. Wow. So great. This makes me rethink about how I play Terran. Oh my god.
What do you think about
storms were
that?
so sick, but
it
yeah,
makes me rethink about how I play Terran right there.
This game is still pretty over, I think. This is honestly way better than I thought it would be, considering basically everything went wrong for ShoWTimE in the beginning. Like after the bunker thing happened, everything went wrong.
Yeah, he took so much damage. It was brutal.
Yeah. This actually went way, way better than I thought it would. Look at this. Look at this. This is so cool. There's just fighting going on everywhere. Such a treat to watch these two play.
Yeah, no, they're a great match.
Yeah.
But it's funny watching this kind of style overall from Clem. Like I like what I'm seeing, but I also look at this and wonder where the Liberators are sometimes. And
yeah, I agree.
I think it's a good way to try to finish. 2-2 against...
Did he get this off one engineering bay? We need to nerf Terran upgrades. What's going on? Okay,
no,
I was going to say, what? Is he a Protoss? What's insane? Yeah. This was a really sick game. It's really interesting to see how Clem moves his army and like his drops and all that kind of stuff. He's so good. He also loves playing really heavy mine count.
Yeah. The mines, I think, are the most interesting part. The way he's playing, the thing is he's playing against toilet units, so like what we're seeing is great, but he's so proficient at this. He's so good with this type of army. I really feel like if I were playing against him in a series, I'd want to go into Colossus tech before Psystorm. Even though the Psystorms have been killer, like you look at this type of army, he's not going to be able to utilize this exactly against Colossus-based play.
He just reactors out mines the entire game.
Yeah,
with the
pretty
same
much.
factory. He doesn't get the upgrade. He doesn't get a tech lab for it. He just one factory reactor mines the entire game, and he just tries to maintain his mine count as long as possible.
Well, he sets it up right. He comes forward with the army, and anytime the charge lots are scary, which is what normally helps you to clear with your Twilight tech, he just backs up.
What a clean game!
That was a good game.
Like we were making, we
series.
did not see the strength of the bunkers originally. Like we had to think about it deeper because obviously Clem's just not doing things for no real reason. We didn't think that. I don't think we thought the strength of what it was what it became.
The thing that I guessed with the having a staging point for the harassment and then bringing up the other one, I do wonder if maybe we can ask him if that was the thought process at the beginning, because it still did not feel right when he made it. You know?
Yeah.
It felt there's something about moving your units into a position like that and fortifying it that early on with no actual return for that long, that just goes against like the principles of the game, the fundamentals of like strategy and stuff. You just look at it and it's like, what's...
Yeah.
And he made it work. I mean...
Yeah, he doubled down, too. He
magnificently
added on more
done, but was that a great move? It worked. But yeah, I don't know. I think ShoWTimE playing against that 2-3 times is gonna start smashing it. I don't know.
I agree. I think this is something that catches you off guard the first time you play it. You're like, what? Because
I would be so confused seeing that.
Yeah, if you're the Protoss, you're like, I don't understand why this is here. What the point of this is. You might get overconfident thinking it's the same kind of bio from the original push too. Like it's hard to know if they favored more units over and stuff. There wasn't very many units poking him. I think he got overconfident and tried to like kill it too early on. He also got hit at the exact same time. This is a nice map for a Protoss. You get to wall off on the low ground.
Yep.
There's not too much to say. What do we got?
Just looking heavily for the proxies. Gonna one base it. Doesn't want to insta-die.
Looks like we might have a cyber before Nexus.
Yeah. Well, you got 2 gases, so for sure.
Yeah.
So proxy Stargate, maybe?
It's not full wall, right? Yeah.
Oh, that was the full wall, isn't it?
I can't tell.
Yeah, it looks like it to me.
It's a full wall.
No, maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't like
no, that is a full wall.
I don't like when they full wall.
Oh, I like the full wall.
I don't.
You just kill a pylon later. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it is a full wall.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think there's any point to not full wall if you're going to proxy a starport.
It just feels like a bit of a tell, to be honest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I guess it's hard to tell for sure.
Well, look, you're forcing a bunker.
I really want when we talk to Special, I need to figure out why they built their bunkers when they do.
Well,
like,
this one was clear because you saw the wall.
Yeah.
Like when you see that wall like that, you have to be ready for whatever the hell's coming. Okay, here comes the Oracle.
Look at it. He's still respecting the mine play. I mean, once he sees the mine, he knows. But
this is Mr. Mine here.
Look at him. He's so good. Okay, so at this point, I think you're very confident in what it was. Proxy Stargate, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Bit of a mistake there. That feels
sloppy.
bad. It's when you look at ShoWTimE's face. Makes it all like scrunched up. Every time I lose a warp prism full of stuff or an oracle, I make the same face.
Yeah.
Unless it has 2 immortals in the warp prism, and then my face just becomes like I drank lemon juice.
I get a scowl and leave the game instantly.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. There's nothing more satisfying than watching a Reaper just explode in 3 shots. As a Zerg player, like, it's so annoying. I mean, it seems like Clem does the same pushes almost every game so far. I thought there would be a little bit more variation. There's a quicker medevac this game.
Well, we can check. So far, it's not. We don't know that it's going to be exactly the same thing, but
I was asking Special because I always felt like 3 tech labs was way too many, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it always felt like if I get a second Rax, I need a 3rd tech lab so I can get stim. But they don't. Or Clem seems to not really favor that, and he just goes for stim combat at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it was Inno who was getting 3 tech labs. It just feels so many. Feels like a lot.
Well, he wasn't getting 3 tech labs early, was he?
No. But having 3 tech labs for the entire game, basically. I don't know.
Because he got his Raven and his tanks, and then he went stim in combat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he went concussive later.
Depends on when you get your Raxes, I think.
Yeah.
Like, if I had a Rax finished right now, what would I build on it, right? Let's imagine that this Rax is finished already. I've got 2 tech labs.
Yeah.
What would I build? Because I'm not going to swap it. I need the Raven. Do I build a reactor and then have 2 reactors to build a tech lab? This has always confused the hell out of me as not an original Terran player because I've had this Rax finished by now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like 3 tech labs feels weird, and double reactor Marines with nothing going on feels weird.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But Special says the 3rd tech lab is fine.
Well,
so.
you can. I mean, you could switch out the factory.
But then you're not building tanks.
Yeah, but how many tanks does he want? He's got 2. Clem has been stopping on 2 to 3.
Yeah. I mean,
if you're not going mech, you don't need that many tanks, I think.
He's building a third. Well, I think you have to build a certain amount because you're just assuming you'll lose the ones that are going.
Yeah.
So.
Although I gotta say, I've been liking his his mine play overall. Oh.
This feels really bad.
Yeah, this feels wrong.
Oh, he's got blink.
What is happening? He could just kill this. He just didn't see that?
I guess. This feels so bad. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why is he so scared?
Well, he saw the extra marines and he didn't see the medevac lift. So now
Now he needs to just go home, right?
I think you have to kill this.
Oh my god. Lift up. Oh! Oh my god. Wow, this went really, really bad for Clem. I think ShoWTimE should just open up Twilight every game, because he does these pushes, and it feels like Twilight just counters almost every push he's done so far.
That has been a little bit of weakness, it seems, these move outs against it.
Yeah. The only game that Twilight would have been questionable is on, is it Automaton or whatever, the one with the gold bases? I don't know why I can't think of the name. Is it Automaton?
Yeah, that's the gold base one.
Yeah, it would have been questionable on Automaton because it was a proxy starport.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you want to keep those variations in case it is a proxy starport or whatever it is.
No, I mean, it's good to make the units, but I feel like when you see this many stalkers out in the middle, you can turn around. It's okay.
Yeah,
You're not a coward.
I agree. The funny thing is he always does this, and then he comes back.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen him just get dominated many times in the middle of the map by stalkers.
Yeah.
And then he just, like, comes back later on with a 1-1 or double push.
Don't think he's gone to this game.
Okay, so see, now he's got three reactors, 2 tech labs.
Mm.
This isn't... Yeah, see...
This feels more right.
This feels right, yeah. So what do we do with our other tech lab if we have it right now?
Well, he's making another one right now.
Yeah, because he's got more Rexes.
Yeah.
But before this, we would have a tech lab on one of these two.
Yeah. Well, if you want to keep making siege tanks, I think you're never going to make more than 2 Ravens, if 2.
I agree.
Banshees can be made, I mean.
Oh, he's just coming out.
So here's the +1 stim, always moving out with this, no matter what time it's at.
Do you think it's at the same time every time?
It's not.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
It's just like...
If we had, like, all day and we're just like, you know what, we don't got shit to do. We just, like, we
Oh,
go over every single variation, like, what delays what, and what each push seems really strong against, because they're all delayed.
That's what I do when I'm trying to study builds from pro gamers, whether it be StarCraft 1 or 2. I'll just keep watching the same replays over and over, or VODs, and writing down the times for everything. It's really, really helpful for any of you that want to get better.
Yeah, I think you could improve a lot just by seeing what Clem times his pushes for, and the way, like, for example, let's say this push hits 1 minute earlier. Is he really aggressive with it, or is he more passive? If it hits 1 minute later, does he play it slower? Does he, like, the way he plays it out versus what time he attacks can tell you what he's trying to hit against. For example, if you hit a minute earlier and you go really aggressive, maybe it's a anti-Colossus timing or whatever, right? Phoenix timing. We don't know because we aren't really paying attention to this, but all these, like, really fast or slow based timings are usually for something.
Well, the one thing that I really appreciate about Clem's play so far here is every single game as Stim and +1 is finishing, he's moving out, regardless of what happened in the earlier parts of the game, because obviously that's a power spike for Terran. Before that, your units are terrible, and after that, your units are really quite good. So I do quite like that. This game is very different, though. He's going up to 5 racks, no 3rd CC, and that generally means you're going until the game's done. Like, there are times where you'll transition into a longer game from this, but just generally speaking, you're going.
If game 1 was 5 racks?
No, it was 3 CC.
Yeah, but he built the 3rd CC after the push.
Yeah, he built it after the push because he lost 9 SCVs, but normally you build it as you're moving out, and then 2 more racks. That's like the normal TVP.
5 racks, 1 engineering bay. No, this is another big thing, right? Like, you'd always be getting this upgrade if you were...
yeah. Well, as soon as you see 5 racks before that 3rd CC, man, that's
Did he
like...
see it? Probably not, right? Yeah, he doesn't have any vision. Don't think you can tell based off this army. This army's mostly
This would look the same no matter what. The either +2 racks or the 3rd CC, that's something you have to scout on its own.
This is a really nice variation. I really like this because Clem is being able to take it to the late game so often now, right? Like, he's been playing out the games with a 3rd almost every time very comfortably, very fluently. So as ShoWTimE, this can catch you off guard. You're not expecting a huge dedicated push after the first couple games.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. I'm wondering if it makes more sense on this map than other maps too.
I think so because of the wide open third.
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
Because this is not about necessarily drawing them into a different position. You're actually going to overpower them. That's the thought.
I mean, I think he does.
Yeah, let's watch. Let's watch. Psystorm is just finishing, so.
I don't see any Templar. Am I missing it?
Yeah, he has 4.
Oh, there they are.
That's definitely enough to ruin this push.
No, that is. Yeah. He doesn't have amazing.
ShoWTimE is going to definitely hold this.
I've said this too. We're doing the cast.
No, definitely this time.
Okay, I believe in you.
4 Psystorms and all that. This push is done. And here come the boys. They've been pulled.
Okay, then you were probably right. Oh yeah, you know what's the worst feeling ever? You pull the boys and there's Colossi / Templar. Both of them are just great.
Ooh, worst Psystorm ever.
Yeah, this is great from Clem, like just buying out storms.
Yeah.
This is exactly what you want to be doing. Oh, I don't know about this. Going up a ramp.
Oh, those storms right there, right there, right there, right there. Oh my god.
Oh, why are we storming? Just go.
Oof. Oof.
Honestly, not amazing storms, but good enough. Yeah. Oh. One big storm left. This is like the most important storm of ever. This storm.
He's got
right
2
here.
storms on that guy.
Yeah. Don't pick up the SCVs.
That would be really funny.
Oh no, yeah, this is it. I think this is it. Oh. My god.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, GG.
All right.
Interesting.
Nice
I like the mix-up, yeah. I think in theory it makes sense. I don't like the SCV pull, but at the same time, you're so all in, like it doesn't make any difference really.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's definitely like prolonged 5 racks 2 base pushes.
I think you get the +1 armor with it, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you're playing like the long game, like I mean, Polt's back. I bet you he's doing some of that. He used to like that play.
I wonder if it's better if he did partially because of the Stargate, because I think in Stargate defense, you know, like it makes a little bit of sense to do an SCV pull if they go for Stargate. It's hard to say. I think you probably want to scout more than one. What is it, 1 or 2 oracles? You probably want to see some phoenixes or something, and then you're like, okay, now SCVs are great.
Yeah, if they go phoenixes, almost always they'll go Colossus with that. There are some +1 armor charge builds with that, and obviously there's the old Adept Phoenix, which is not good anymore.
Can Terran please just get an AoE spell like Protoss and Zerg have? Zerg don't really have an AoE spell. Fungal Zerg.
Can you imagine how broken the game would become
you
if
guys
Terran
have
had AoE?
You guys have nukes. Nukes are AoE.
And mines.
EMP.
And EMP. And the Raven spells. And, I mean, do I need to keep going?
No.
The game would be broken. Please, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Could you imagine, like, if they had Templar, they just use the Raven ability and then storm on top of it?
Jesus.
Gross. Tanks are already basically your AoE spell, okay?
Well, tanks, mines, I mean,
is
there more damage output than Stim Marines? I feel not.
Our first true variation. 2 racks proxy. You know, back in the day, there was this cool build. My brother taught me this. This was probably 2010.
Yeah?
Where they built a supply depot down here and a racks here, right? And they just build 5 racks in their base. And then just Marine SCV pull.
Dirty.
Because all you'd see was a supply depot and a racks. You wouldn't be able to tell anything. It was so sick.
So this was before the plates?
Yeah, before the plates.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. It was so amazing because it was a 2-building wall off on the low ground.
Yeah. Pretty gross. Those 2-building wall off on low ground, though, were the most broken thing ever. Yeah. You just kill Zerg. You just build 2 bunkers there.
2 bunkers.
That's it.
3 pylons.
Game's over.
2.
Get out of here.
What's going on?
Yeah, 3 pylons and then cannons.
3 pylon cannon wall was the most broken thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, double bunker. Oh, thank God we're not in that era anymore. Oh, my God.
Dude, when I was a Zerg player still playing, that's, like, everyone thought it was the Proxy Racks Reapers that were broken, and those were broken too, but it was really the 2 bunkers at the bottom of the ramp. Morrow did that against me at IEM Cologne.
It's so dirty.
And he was, like, apologizing afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
Basically,
it was
because it was, like, so broken.
It was universally understood that it was broken.
Yeah.
If you were doing it, you were universally basically abusing the game.
Yeah.
Like, nobody was like, oh, you could do this. No.
It was so painful,
It was just broken.
Fly to Germany to lose that.
Do you remember what people did for the counter? It was so bad, but it was the only thing we could do. We used to drone drill You don't remember?
No.
Where they would like right-click here and attack.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
it was so
no,
bad.
That was bad,
but it was
though.
the only thing we could do.
It was better to go Banes.
It only on certain maps too. It worked where we'd right-click and the drones would stack up and we'd attack the pylon and we could sometimes like 3-shot a pylon. It was cool when it worked, but if it didn't work, you looked like an idiot.
I rushed to layer and got Baneling speed.
Rush to layer and bailing speed.
Yeah.
That's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a different time.
Yeah, no, we're in a different time. That would be crap
it would be
nowadays.
so bad, yeah.
But back then, it was all right.
So, just getting back to our game, what do we see here?
Well, we see just a dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. That's a nice way of putting it.
No, this is
interesting though.
the double proxy barracks. It's
Marines.
I mean, the shield battery's up. He's delaying everything. This doesn't look good.
For who?
For Clem.
Yeah, I agree.
For who?
I mean, I was waiting for you to say for ShoWTimE, and I'd be like, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting.
Well, look at the bunker. The bunker's like 2/3 done.
He blocked
You think
it.
that thing's going to ever finish? No. Look at that. Shield battery finishes before he loses his Zealot. Okay. Sorry, Clem. Not going to work out.
He builds a bunker over here now. And dies.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. This is when you throw down a Nexus.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Just ahead. Yep. Throw her down. And that's all she wrote, basically. I don't particularly like this. It can work against. You know what? I feel like this stuff was good against. You know those maps where you do full wall off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be very good.
That's a good time to do it, I think, because the Zealots are kind of forced to either go aggressive or be defensive. Like they're either on the other side of the wall or on this side of the wall.
Yeah, I think Port Alexander would be the best map for it. Cyber Forest, you're going up a ramp, but the buildings are almost always at the bottom of the ramp. So,
what's our map score right now?
2-2. It's game 5.
Damn. What?
It's a brave play by Clem. Game 5, cheese him. Absolutely. I am so down for that.
The funny thing is, this happened in the other series too that we were going to go over. I don't know if we have enough time to do it fully, but it happened the same thing with proxy racks.
Was it Kairos?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Kairos is a good map to hide stuff on, to be fair.
I have so much respect for players that can make decisions like this on the back foot, like, you know, knowing that your tournament life could be on the line here.
What, the
to go for
barracks?
proxy racks, 12 pools, cannon rushes, whatever they may
Absolutely.
be.
Oh, actually, because this game is like kind of silly right now. Did you see that Dark said that 12 pool can be good against everything in StarCraft 2?
He's wrong. I don't know what you want me to say. He's wrong. Dark is wrong.
I'm pretty sure Dark is like the second best Zerg in the world to Cyril.
I know.
So I don't know how you can say this.
I know. Dude, you know who I am. You know how much I love Dark.
I know you.
It pains me.
And I know how much you love rushing with Zerglings.
It pains me deeply to say he's wrong.
I want to know. Well, the thing is, he said that, and I make fun of 12 pool a lot because it generally does
so
nothing,
bad.
and you get behind. But
he almost lost. It was Nexus first without a like. It was the best case scenario. I was like, imagine if
it was a lucky scout too at the pro. But okay, yeah. So this was a cheese that didn't work. Whatever. This game is.
Someone in my chat was like, "Did you hear what Dark said about 12 pools?" I'm like, "No." What did he say? And he said it's the best thing ever. I'm like, "No, he didn't."
He said it can be advantaged against everything in StarCraft 2.
It doesn't make any sense though. It's so bad.
If Dark says it, I mean,
I think Dark is playing with them. He is getting ready for Hero,
making him think there might be 12 pools.
Exactly. There's no way. I bet he doesn't pull it out once.
Maybe he's so afraid of Cannon Rush that he's priming him with like, I'm going to 12 pool.
I think he's fucking with people. There's no way he thinks that because I've played 12 pool and I may not be as good as Dark, but I know the ins and outs of 12 pool. It's so bad. It's just deplorably bad in a lot of situations.
I hope that Dark wins his first GSL with 12 pools.
I'll be so triggered. I'll be so triggered. Okay, you know what happens? They scout and they chrono the Zealot and you just die. Like, what world do they actually do something with it? Dark is not better than Sewer Rogue. I disagree with you, my good sir.
I think that Dark is probably the second best Zerg in the world to Cyril right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Special versus Neeb.
No. We have to talk about this.
Well, the thing is, we've gone over a bunch of. We've seen a bunch of 12 pool games. Like we saw a bunch in the.
They all failed though, except for that
they did.
One. They all failed.
They've all failed. And the thing is, he caught a Nexus first.
I know,
right? So it's like, well, I mean, yeah, it's good against that. Okay.
Imagine being that just be like, yeah, it's the best build against everything when it's a Nexus first. Like, come on, nobody even Nexus first.
No, I know. Well, the thing is, I think patience is smart because people should be doing it sometimes. They should do it sometimes. Yeah, I think
PVZs, I was like,
why don't you and I were talking about that.
Why don't we do
I don't
more
know if we were on
Nexus
air
first?
for it, but yeah.
Well, if we weren't. I remember talking about it because I was like, this used to be so popular, but we're not doing it anymore. You know what? We actually talked about how shitty 12 pool was in one of our episodes.
Yes. Yes.
Dark is just trying to make us look bad.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he's dark, so I wanna believe him. I want to take it.
Trust me, I do too.
Figure it out, and why is it so good? But yeah,
no,
I'm glad that you're so excited about how
Hero.
wrong he might be.
He's messing with Hero. That's my bet. I bet the next interview, he's like, yeah, 12 pool's actually just shit. I was just fucking with Hero. That's what his next interview is gonna be. I promise you.
We'll see.
Like, he's playing 4D chess with the interviews right now. Because that is the most controversial. Wow, that is the most controversial thing I've ever heard him say. And he says some controversial shit.
It was pretty surprising to hear.
Oh man.
Just a Stargate opening. We're into Neeb versus Special, by the way. We don't have as much time to go over it as deeply as we did the Clem games. The Clem ShoWTimE series, though, that was wonderful. I'm very excited about Clem.
He's already playing so differently than Clem was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, look at this. This third CC is really fast. I think that this is one of Special's PVT has felt way stronger in recent days or weeks than it has ever for me. And I think it has something to do with the utility he plays. Like, sometimes he's extremely... Oh, my God.
Oh!
Are you okay?
Oh! If the Adepts were a little bit closer, we have 4 more SCV kills from that mind drag. Oh, my God. Woo!
Got some chills there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was almost the greatest mind drag of all time, basically.
Yeah.
Not quite, though. I guess it didn't work out, but almost.
That was sick.
Sorry, what were you saying before that mind drag? My life doesn't even exist before that. My God. Those SCVs. Woo!
Yeah, that was sick. Pretty good hold overall, though. If those SCVs died, I think we'd be in a very bad situation.
Oh, yeah. You were talking about something about versatility of Special?
Oh, yeah,
is that what you said?
Versatility. He seems very versatile. Like, sometimes he goes for these designated pushes, and sometimes he just takes a third and doesn't do that.
His builds are
hugely
different. Yeah.
Sometimes he plays he's vastly on the spectrum.
Everything different.
And it seems like that's one of his strengths now. Because before, I think he was a lot more predictable. And before, a lot of people would just abuse the fact that he was who he was because he played so much like TY.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of playing more like himself, which feels great.
That's definitely true. I think you and I were talking about that on Pylon Show, why we thought he'd do well in WCS.
And then he did.
He did. He did really well. I mean, if you're losing to Cyril, he's the world champ. There's no shame in that, even though you hate Cyril and think he could never win GSL. But
yeah, that's just factual. No, I'm just kidding. In case someone clips this, it's like, see, guys, we told you.
Yeah, see? Look at how red those things are.
Yeah.
My God.
Neeb's control is just something to admire. He's not even going to lose one of them, is he?
One. No? If he targeted correctly, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. What a guy.
What a guy.
That is like extremely ballsy lib. Like, there's Phoenixes, and he's just like, yeah, he won't expect me to siege up a Liberator, will he?
Oh, dude, this is a real Terran thing. You have Phoenixes, they send out the Liberator. It's
sometimes
like the thing is the Phoenixes stay so active, right?
No, that's true.
Well, the way that you play with Phoenixes has really changed. I think that further back, Phoenixes were almost always used defensively. Like, of course, you do a little bit of harass, but overall, nowadays they are just offense.
Yeah.
And look at the Liberator. Liberator's killing it.
Yeah, after a certain point. Also, how the hell did this just show up? 3 Cyclones.
Kind of neat.
This feels like such a different game from the other games that we've watched. Like, it's so vastly different.
Yeah. Well, Clem has a very certain style that he seems to be utilizing right now.
Yeah.
Which I think this is part of the reason why Special is still better than him.
Yeah.
Is he does have that more variety. You can't always play the same.
I hope Clem takes those games as like an option and not as a necessity, you know? Like, I hope he doesn't feel it's a necessity to go with that push every time. But more like, okay, I have this, but I can also do this.
Well, he's so young and so new.
He is.
That I'm not too worried about it. Like, oh, look, he's going in mech. Nice. Well, I guess the game's so short, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. This is the one thing I don't like about mech. It feels like there's a big timing where you're just kind of open.
Yes.
Especially if you don't open tanks, you open cyclones, it's even worse.
Yeah. What was that game on King's Cove the other day? It was like, I think it was one of the innovation games where, like, he went towards his third base and just died instantly to a push. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
Yeah, but it was like, whoever it was, I think it was innovation. Maybe it was someone else, but didn't even know that the army was there.
Yeah.
Didn't even know.
I remember. I don't remember.
I think that's part of the problem right now with mech, because everyone has their own version of mech, their own style of mech, where like we see Special doing all these different things, but it's like if you play Bio, it's like very much more straightforward. You know where the units might be, where they might not be. You've been playing it for years and years and years. Here, everyone has a different type of mech, and everyone's playing against mech differently because it's so new. So sometimes you just die to an attack. You're like, he has his third landed, and he's actually attacking with the army, and then suddenly Neeb walks across the map and kills him. He chases the army all the way back, kills the army, kills the bases, the game's over. So it's kind of like just mech isn't as mapped out. The thing is, will it stay powerful enough in the meta that it can get mapped out so that things like this, because you will not see games that look like this as Bio. It just if Special's playing Bio here, you never defend
Clem,
your third, then walk across the map and kill him.
You know, if this is Clem, he's got stim combat in +1. Like you're not killing him with this. What time was it? 6 something? Yeah, like he would have been fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, the game would have looked quite different there with Bio for sure.
This is very interesting, though. I'm glad we see variations in CVP. Like, I mean, some variations. Sometimes they're just really bad games, but other times they're great.
In ZVP?
TVP.
Oh, TVP.
Like TVP, we have games that just end immediately. They're just like, what? What just happened? You know?
Yeah.
Like the least, they're just so anticlimactic, and they just end.
Occasionally.
And we're like, okay, that was really lame.
There's some sharp edges on a few builds.
And then you got Neeb versus Maru, like a 25-minute TVP back and forth the entire game, and just like a.
Well, that's what happens when both players have the early game mapped out perfectly.
Agreed.
Where every building's in the right place and every unit's in the right place, and as soon as you get away from that, you can get games like what we just saw.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, okay, well, you just, you were attacking, then you died.
Oh
God.
Oh God. And before we get an interview, oh yeah, 2Rex is actually just the best thing ever. Like it works against everything. Like
it's pretty strong.
That would be a more true statement than what Dark said.
It would be a more true statement.
The hell? Did you see that terraforming? Look at this.
I read a Hearthstone tweet once about that.
With the terraform?
No, about the power of 2Rex.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. It's the greatest tweet of all time. It's funny how some things become memes and others don't.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So it's only 1 Rex.
Yeah. Well, this is what proxy is now.
Yeah, I like this more than the 2Rex that Clem did.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's actually a macro build. He's just going to go command center most likely after the factory.
Yeah, but it also leads special. This is actually interesting knowing how the series ends. You know how I don't know if you know how the series ends.
I know that Special wins.
Yeah, the series. We can speak on it because I don't know how much time we actually have. But the series ends with a 2Rex like Clem did, except he kills the zealot and just kills him with it. But it looks the same, right? Like when you scout this, you see the factory, you see you don't.
And he took 2 gases?
I don't remember.
I'd be surprised if he took 2.
I don't think did he scout the double gas?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. I don't know. We can look at it if we have time.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see that as the ending of the series because he's throwing in stuff that can be viewed. You know, you could view this as a 1 Rex and misrespond. So yeah, nothing really going on.
I love moves like that.
This is great.
But things like that are will become obvious very quickly if they aren't already.
Yeah, I agree. The tank one used to be the most obvious thing ever. Oh,
yeah.
I remember I got punished a couple times with mutas. I'm like, never again.
And I see
like,
under the tank.
You know what the best part is? Then they just leave a tank without any mines underneath it, and you're like, I could have killed that tank for free. Well, wait, what?
Yeah, you can hit stuff that's over the mine and then micro out.
So good. I just want to watch that.
Oh,
okay. I was about to say, if you did that back and forth micro, that would have been insane.
I was playing the Korean ladder once, and I killed a bunch of his mines like that, like going back and forth in and out, and he typed to me in Korean that like I was really good, and then he attacked me and I hadn't been macroing, he just killed me. I was like, oh,
that's funny.
From so good feeling to so bad.
What?
Okay, just checking, making sure he has his 3 gates and all.
For the Nexus?
Yep.
Yeah. 3 gates, Stargate. Oh. Pretty big mistake. These are so cool. Terran, when Terran players just catch mine or stuff on the map with their mines, it's such a great feeling as a Terran.
Feels pretty bad as anyone else.
It does. Unless you're a spectator. Or
do you like this type of play from Neeb on this map?
I don't feel like the map plays too heavily into it, and more the player. I do like this play against Special.
Oh, the star.
Yeah, because if, like we said, with all those variations, at least this way we can fully
map
out.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I'll go with what you just said. I just think in general on the map.
Oh yeah, I don't think this map has any like things that would suggest Stargate's preferable on it.
Yeah, and especially because with Stargate you go into Twilight Tech, and I'm like, you're not. You can't even really attack a 3-base Terran here because third base is so free. You know.
I feel like he wants to stay on the passive side, especially with the ramps.
Yeah.
And I think totally. Neeb, the player Neeb, is probably totally comfortable with doing this. Oh my god.
And he lost probes in his main during all this too.
To what? Viking.
Damn.
Vikings are so cool at killing probes, by the way.
Yeah, they
are. Literally like 2-shot them.
Yeah.
And they have a high attack rate. Yeah. I think if this is a different player, though, I don't think we play the same style. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not Neeb and you're someone like Goblin, perhaps, probably don't play the same style. You probably want to be more aggressive, and you probably don't want to open Stargate because of that.
I think it's hard to be aggressive on this map in general, though.
It is. But at the same time, you don't just want Special taking this CC, this CC, this CC, this CC, and then just play a macro game.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're Neeb, you're like, I don't care, I'll just take all these. Like, I 1v1 Mara in the late game. You know, like, what do you got? So it's interesting to see that, you know, you have to play a different style to your limitations.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. Oh, that was very good.
This is a nice push from Special. Just a very crisp tank push. This is the kind of anticlimactic ending I'm talking about, by the way, where it's like, yeah, you know, it just doesn't feel that good to watch a fight like this.
Yeah.
It's not as much in the push, whereas you compare it to something like Clem, where he's pushing here and he's got a mine drop here and he's got a third base on the way and he's got like, I don't know what it is. As a spectator, it just doesn't feel as climactic, but it's not any less impressive. You know what I mean?
Oh, the play is certainly very good.
It's just less climactic. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. It might be because I'm a pro gamer, but I'd be interested to see if you guys feel the same way about these kind of tank pushes. If you feel like they're less climactic.
Well, when they just kill you like this, it feels like there's something strategically wrong on the Protoss side, you know?
Right. Yeah. I think that's what I feel too.
The thing is, like I said before, for this map, like I get what you're saying stylistically, why Neeb might like this against Special, but I don't know. I look at this map and I'm like, oh, you can just go like Robo into 2 Forge and 3 base, and like you are actually in such a good spot because this map always goes late game, except I guess when you die like this.
He almost found a way to throw, by the way. I remember watching this and being like, how? How is he holding? Like, +2. Neeb, if Neeb holds, he's in a pretty good spot, to be honest. Like, he's got +2. He's maintained a decent immortal count.
He's got a good probe count.
Yeah. Like, he would be okay if he holds efficiently.
Yeah. It's undoable now, though.
I agree.
With the Liberator up there, it's just...
Yeah. No blink, right?
Big props to Special for utilizing Liberators. So many Terrans seem to be skipping them against this type of play.
All right. Seems like you guys feel the similar way. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
About the games.
Yeah.
Yeah. like watching this, right? We know Neeb is on the back foot. We know that he's probably not going to be able to hold this. but it's such a long, drawn-out process because Special can't just snap his fingers and end the game. And at the same time, that would be anticlimactic, too, if the game just ends.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we know the outcome for so long at this point that it's not as hype-inducing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, for example, when you go back to who was it, Clem and ShoWTimE, those games, like, we were calling them wrong. We didn't know who was going to win or lose at a lot of the points. Even to the very, very last engagement, we were not 100% sure who would win.
They were very exciting and back and forth, but a lot of times the games that are exciting back and forth are not actually that instructive. They're just exciting and back and forth. Whereas a game like this, where you see like this sharp attack and it tears someone apart, that you're actually going to learn a lot more from.
I agree. I agree.
And I mean, I like what Neeb's trying to do here, to be fair, to come back, right? He's working on his immortal count and his +2 armor. And that's his game plan. And the thing is, he's about to have a 4th immortal pop out. Like, eventually, if you just keep making immortals and he's actually not, like, whittling that down and you get that +2 armor upgrade, then you're actually in a place where it's like, okay, this game can get very interesting again. But the push overall from Special is, you know.
I like it. This is what it felt like the 5-rack should have done from Clem, some of those games. Like, it feels like Special's 5-racks is a lot more decisive.
This wasn't 5-racks before 3-base, was it? I don't think so.
I don't know, but the point is his push feels a lot more executed properly. I'm not sure if that's on Neeb or on Special more. Like, it felt like ShoWTimE was very much on the map and
Neeb went charge before Blink?
I mean, he doesn't have Blink yet. So, yes.
Yeah, so I think that's a big part of it because if you don't go Blink, you can't slow the push. So he gets into position no matter what, and then your charge finishes, and you're like, okay, do I have enough to break it? And it's a yes-no question. There's not a lot of play with charge.
Right.
It's like charge is brute force, and Blink is finesse and micro, right? So I think that's where the differences lie between those two games, or those two styles, I guess.
Someone said that I feel in this situation, casters make it real difference if it's exciting or not.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree, but it's also hard to like cast from this perspective to make it exciting, I think. It depends on your style of commentary, I guess. It would be hard for someone like me to do it, I think, but maybe not someone like Nick. But for different reasons. Like, I think he's just better at making things exciting.
Yeah, it's
whereas
kind of his job.
Kind of like, oh, this game's kind of over, you know? I don't want to be like, I think maybe he'll hold or something, you know? Like, if he gets +2. Oh, he's got 4 Stalkers in a dream. Oh, no. You know? And the game ends. That was a pretty cool, almost last-ditch defense, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah. No,
it was cool.
With the position he got into, I think he made the best plan that he really could. Just the position itself was a little bit tough.
Maynard's a good one. I didn't want to offend Maynard because I knew he was in chat, and I know Nick would never watch this, so I figured Nick, it's impossible to offend in this situation.
Watch in depth.
Yeah.
He would never watch his friend's show. He would never do that.
Never. It's about, you know, this is like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just different people watch different things. I guess Maynard's watching.
Better believe that he is.
2 octaves too high. I mean, yeah, that's true. I probably should have gone for a deeper voice for Tasteless. I don't know why I went for a higher one. I actually think I was imitating myself there, though. Like, trying to be a hype caster.
You could do it.
You think so?
Takes a while to learn, but you can do it.
One day.
It's not that hard.
All right.
So we might be able to get through. We got to go a little bit quicker.
Yeah. We got about 20 minutes.
Yeah. We got to do our questions and stuff at the end. We're going to talk about actually next week's episode this week.
Oh, yeah. So next week's going to be sick.
Yeah, we'll tell you guys about it after this.
By the way, guys, we haven't sold out yet. You can support us by donations or Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
Also, you can join our Discord. We love you. You're all beautiful. Thank you for your support. It allows us to continue to do the show and make it better for you guys.
Yeah, so there's a command in my chat for the Discord that you can join, and we're working on that, and hopefully you like it. And, of course, check out patreon.com/indepthsc2 if you would like to support. We appreciate it.
Yeah. It helps us make a better show. We have a lot of plans for our future shows.
We have new graphics being made, and we'll release more and more information about what we're trying to do. soon, and we'll at least tell you about the next episode, huh?
They ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, no, we really enjoy doing this. We like to talk about StarCraft together, or alone, or apart, or well, not alone as much.
Yeah,
when
sometimes
I'm alone,
I message him. I'm like, oh, "This is a cool thing."
Yeah, that's true.
I had a question for him earlier about why we don't use probes for vision.
Yeah, we talked about that
pylons.
a little bit. Yeah,
because I'm an F2er, as you all know. I'm a guilty sinner, but it felt really good to not have like my observers going everywhere and that kind of stuff.
That's why they have siege mode, though.
Yeah, but that's too much APM. Plus, they can't run away.
What is your APM?
It's actually pretty high. It's
what
340.
Is it? 340?
If I'm Zerg. Maybe 270 if I'm Protoss. 280. It's not bad.
How is StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1 APM measured differently, I wonder?
Maybe the Blizzard seconds, because they changed the APM. The StarCraft 2 APM went way up because the old seconds were faster, right? So it would maybe would have been like, instead of APM per minute, it was APM per 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
No, I remember.
So APMs went way up once they changed it to a proper minute. That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
They changed that.
So, I mean, I think, for my money, this is the best overall build for PvT right now.
Mm-hmm. It seems like a good middle ground between the builds we were talking about. Like the Stargate really fast third or the Robo with fast third. This is like a perfect middle ground where you have units and you have the tech.
You have potential for damage, potential for defense, potential for slowing them down.
You have vision.
You can follow it up with anything too. There's like all-in follow-ups to this. I don't think that they're that great, but they exist.
They exist, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can catch them, right? Like where you don't get a forge. Maybe you get a third base and go 8 gate and a prism or something. But there's very macro-oriented ones. You can go into Robo. You can go into Storm. I just think that this is the build if you want to practice PvT right now.
Big difference in the way Special moves around his army versus Clem.
Yes.
It just feels like Clem moved out with way less units and way less thought behind it, whereas Special moves out with the right amount of units to deal with what he's scouted or what he's seen on the map so far.
Yeah, I think his barracks were a little bit quicker than what we saw from Clem, because I think he actually just has a few more units.
I think he
but it matters on the build too, because Clem did like 3 different builds with that same move out.
Yeah, you see, he's got 3 tech labs. So he gets the Raxes faster like me, right?
Yeah.
Does he already have stim?
No. Oh my God, he does.
Yeah.
What?
So, wait, I just want to.
Very
let's go back because this is more interesting for me because this is how I play. Okay, so let's go way back. We're just gonna watch the build really fast, and then we'll go back to where we were. All right. So we've got a Rax. Yeah, see the second Rax is way really fast. This almost looks like 2-1-1 Rax timing.
If I saw that right there, it does look like 2-1-1.
I don't get the Rax this fast, but it's fast. It's probably. Again, I'm a noob, so don't worry about what I get. But it does feel better to have this Rax for me. Okay, really fast tech lab, stim immediately.
And look at how far away that is from any possible Blinkens.
Still no stim.
And he actually scouted very well what was going on. Okay.
I like it. Yeah, so it's 3 tech labs. So again, when you look at this and your factory is sitting here, and you have to make the debate of whether to build a reactor or a tech lab. I feel like I'm weighing I've got like the biggest weight on my shoulders here of like life or death situation. Like, do I let the people escape, or like the trolley problem? Like, do I pull the lever and like kill 5 people to save 1? Like, it's such a big debate for me every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he says 3 tech labs is fine. All right, let's go back to where we were. I was just curious. So he gets his stim. His combat shields is way later, but stim is going to be pretty sick for timing. Also, it's really nice against stalkers, blink stalkers, because you can actually catch up to them. It seemed like a bit of a mistake.
I like how he's out there before even his medevacs, realizing that he has this opportunity.
Yeah, and his medevacs boost to catch up. Does Neeb already know, do you think?
Well, he recalled back, so he doesn't know about the one in the main, but he knows that he's coming aggressively. There, you have to know. Like, where the hell's the rest of it?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. For the amount of good Neeb's like decision, that was very cute that he tried to do that.
Yeah.
For the amount of good things Neeb does, and his execution is just insane. Like, some things just feel off with him. I don't know what it is though. Like the fact that there's no pylon here, that seems a little weird, but maybe there's reasons behind it. Certain things just feel off for Neeb because he's just so insane sometimes. Where you're like, how is this even humanly possible?
Well, I think maybe Special's build could throw him off a little bit here as well.
Yeah, it's
like
possible.
maybe he would have had that pylon up just a little bit later when a lot of other Terrans would be dropping.
Right.
Not sure exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't either know. I'm not that big of a brain. That's like some Einstein level stuff. It'd be so sick if we had Neeb in Korea right now. So I could ask him.
You know, you have the internet. You could still ask him.
He doesn't exist over the internet. Can you imagine trying to get a hold of someone like Neeb and Scarlet? They just don't exist online.
That's kind of me, too.
Yeah.
If you didn't have my phone, you wouldn't.
You should be able to understand.
Yeah, I do. Sick damage from Special. Damn.
It seems like they'd like to do this reactor thing. I always wanted to get the upgrade, but after watching today, I don't think that anymore.
Wait, which?
The mine upgrade.
Oh,
so I felt
yeah,
like
no,
when I wanted to do late game drops, mine drops, they were so much better. But at the same time, it just feels so clunky to have a tech lab and then swap it.
I think it's not as much. Yeah, that's definitely true about the swapping as well. But I think it's not as much about that. I think it's like the way these guys are utilizing mines are just as defense against Zealots, right? Because the way that you would actually fight this is Zealots charging in, so you pull back and they take that ridiculous splash.
Right.
Especially because they extra clump as you kite away.
33 workers, by the way.
That is a great worker pull.
That was.
That was an amazing worker pull. If
Neeb
had stayed there, he just loses everything.
He's a little bit more aggressive than I'd like, I think, if knowing this is really all in from Neeb. I don't think it's necessary, but at the same time, he's got such a big army. It doesn't really matter. Look at that. The mine kills them. That was a beautiful game from Special. He
just very well done.
Yeah. Very well done.
I guess we'll jump into that 5th and final map.
Yeah.
Real quick.
It's a fast one, so we've got time. Then we can do our stuff. Artosis definitely exists online because he almost likes all the tweets I send up complimenting his casting. Yeah.
Like, oh, what can I say? Oh wait, no, that was game 3. Sorry, we have game 4.
Okay. Well, all these games are way shorter than the ShoWTimE Clem ones.
Yeah.
I can see why so many people are suggesting ShoWTimE Clem as a series, though. It's such a sick series. Like I said, I think if they just practiced together, they'd be unstoppable in their respective matchups. Like, it'd be like the hyperbolic time chamber for practice.
It's just very exciting to see what Clem is going to do in the future.
I
like his style right now, but it's not perfect yet. You know.
Yeah.
It's like you can tell he's still improving.
Him and Raynor both. Like, Raynor's way higher, I feel. Like, I regard him as a higher player, but at the same time, they're basically the same age.
Yeah.
So it's scary, like, to know where they can go from there.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, everyone progresses at different rates, too.
It's true.
And then you also got, like, Goblin in the mix. You got Future from NA in the mix.
Future's exciting. As a Terran player from NA, I'm really excited for him.
He's really good and really smart.
Also, Estrella is exciting. He's coming to Korea. He's going to be playing in the GSL qualifier.
Ooh, damn. Can't wait.
Basically, I have all the foreigners that are coming to GSL, so it'll be really interesting.
I hope a bunch of them get in.
They are, hopefully. I'm going to get in, so.
Ooh.
Again. 3rd time's the charm.
So hold on. Okay, so he's getting that quick sink in barracks once again.
Yeah.
Seems to quite like that.
I'm curious about this. Okay, so this is the debate. We built the tech lab, no?
Yeah, you will in a second. Oh! Never mind.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Silly me.
Wonder why nothing.
Oh, he's using that tech lab and going to build a reactor?
Tech lab? Tech lab? There can't be any thought process behind that.
I don't know. I'm not even going to guess.
What is he doing?
I really don't know. You know what? Maybe because
of Neeb's
the attack's
aggression?
coming in, because he's staying aggressive. He's like, I need a siege tank. He's like, I need this siege tank so badly. Yeah, see? There we go.
Triple tech lab.
That was so silly, though. The one time we're really looking for it.
Yeah. He just swaps it, puts it back on. He's like just trying to make himself look fast.
See that? Hear that tank shot?
Wait, let's just go back in curiosity, like, just for shits and gigs. Let's see what he sees to make him swap it. He already swapped it? Oh yeah, he has. Let's go back a little bit more. Sorry. The last one's fast anyways. Okay. Oh, maybe it's the Reaper. Oh,
He's a robo
okay,
chrono.
this is we're lifting it. We land it.
Okay, what's he see?
We've seen Adept. If he doesn't see anything, I'm gonna be. Sees a prism. I guess the prism. So I don't know if that's enough. I guess to play it safe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Prism might be the only thing, but
well, it's the only thing he saw.
that's fine.
Okay, let's go back to where we were. Okay, we got a fast Colossus here from Neeb. I love the Colossus for defense. It's so sick.
Yeah.
And he's got a prism too, so this
ridiculously
Colossus is basically invincible. If you're, I guess not. If you're sick enough, you could probably pick it up before it gets disabled.
Yeah, but then they disable the prism and you're really screwed.
That's why I stopped myself, because I was like, well.
Maybe if you see the prism and Colossus next to each other, you disable the prism first. Because then they're really screwed. If they pick it up, oh man.
You know what's amazing? The amount of Terrans that miss the disable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my mind gets blown. Every time I see a sentry underneath the Colossus get disabled, I'm like, what?
Yeah, how do you misclick? It's like the biggest
unit. It's the most
unit.
important thing, too. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that felt bad.
Get so wrecked.
This is so good. Oh. This is a Mara defense. Oh my god. I remember watching that and being like, what?
Feels like his main should be dead to that prism right now.
Yeah. This is awkward. Oh!
Nice.
He gets all three.
I don't think the charge lots care very much.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty good defense, though, from Neeb.
Oh. Yeah, it was quite good. And notice how he's out on the map against a Raven with Colossus.
And this one's
Isn't that
5
nice?
racks, too.
Rather than sitting in your natural waiting to die.
This is the same, looks like the same build as Clem did, except there's a third. I guess he tried to get the third earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing that feels weird is there's no armor.
He has. Oh wait, he has 5 racks already.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a little bit different. This is like the macro 5 racks.
Armor's quite late. Feels like his build's been thrown off by the push. Maybe by the zealots, actually. Okay. It's kind of nice that he keeps canceling the third if you're going 5 racks.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, okay, I guess I just fucking push
Well, I think
you.
he's actually decided to just go all in now. Special has.
Yeah. It's not a bad decision, right? Like maybe get
Well,
+1
you're
armor.
canceling
and
the third that far along and stuff. I mean, yeah, I think you gotta do something here.
Yeah.
But Neeb's vision just looks very, very strong.
There we go. SCV pull. I don't remember who wins this game. I have to imagine Neeb, though.
Neeb wins this.
Position.
For sure.
Ooh, he stimmed really late there. Awful force fields IMO. Literally all the zealots just got trapped, and now... Oh. This was a pretty close defense. Where are the boys? I thought we saw the boys being pulled.
We did, but it wasn't that many boys.
Oh.
It was like 7 boys.
Okay. Nice. The prisms seem really strong.
Yeah. Felt like I mean these are
7 boys.
Good high level games, but it felt like the Clem ShoWTimE. The thing is, like Special's doing a wide variety of builds, which is cool, and if we were looking specifically for any one of them, it would be really neat to analyze them in such a way, but with Clem, he was playing basically the same thing with slight variations each time, which I think lends itself to really learning a lot looking at it. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Where, yeah, you're like looking like at this mass Widow Mine, pulling him back, these decisive drops coming off instantly. Whereas
yeah, it's interesting to look at what the difference is between these two series, because there's definitely I wouldn't say less, well, a little bit less interest, you know? I don't know what it is fully, but there's just something that makes these games less interesting than the Clem ShoWTimE games. And I'm think that's because there's at some point in these games it feels like there's a decisive person at a disadvantage.
Yes.
Almost all of them. Whereas the Clem ShoWTimE games, there was never a decisive loser. Not at least not every game. There were certain games where you were like, okay, this guy's decisively behind. But so far, every single game, it's felt one of these two is behind, and then they just die.
Yeah. Well, Special is playing in a sharper way than Clem in a lot of ways. Like the strategies he's choosing. Clem's strategies had a lot of play in them. He had a lot of ways to make different moves to make up for bad situations. You know, whereas with Special, he's like, okay, we're going to all in at this point. Okay, here's my big attack, and I'm going to execute it perfectly, and I'm taking a risk. You know, and so I think that's kind of why it's looking like that. Yeah.
Guess there's no hiding this, right?
That's a difficult hold right there. Hey, we were talking about how this and Port Alexander are the good proxy maps.
Yeah.
So you always got those buildings there. You're trying to play that greedy Protoss.
This already looks way better than Clem's.
Yeah. Well, the Clem one just wasn't working at all. And everything was on the high ground, so it's like you're just building it in the natural.
So both players went for the 2-Rex when it was tied 2-2.
Yeah.
Is that not a crazy coincidence, or what?
It is a little bit.
Imagine being tied your series and just going for a 2-Rex. This was the most crazy situation ever, by the way. I think this basically lost him the game.
Yeah. That surround is pretty massive. Yeah. He kills one SCV with that Zealot. You got to get more than that.
Okay, this one gets trapped too. Okay. Yeah, this is really bad.
Oh my god.
This is really, really bad. Imagine being Special and getting placed in the grand finals based off this game.
GG. Better player. Better player won.
Better player won. Crazy series. Different series for sure.
Yeah.
I think if we opened with this series, I'm curious if we opened with this series if it would change anything, because towards the end of the show we've already gone over a lot of TVP. I'm not sure if we look into it in a different lens.
Well, it's hard to analyze this, right? Because we have to kind of guess what they're thinking. But as far as fifth game doing something like that, I think with Clem, he was playing in a somewhat honorable way, I guess, overall, right? He was playing like some real games and stuff, and he didn't seem very cheesy, so maybe he's trying to catch ShoWTimE off guard with that. With Special, it feels more strategic. He's like, Neeb is going to wall on the low ground. I'm going to try to end it with this because this can truly end it.
Right.
Whereas Clem's like running into gateway on the high ground, right, where you can put shield battery on the low ground, and then suddenly... But wait, was that Cyber Force as well? No, that wasn't Cyber Force against ShoWTimE. That was... What map was that?
What,
Kairos? The Clem versus ShoWTimE double proxy. Was that Kairos?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it's not a good map for it.
No.
Not so particularly good map for it.
Okay.
Right.
Well, some interesting series. Yeah. I guess we're going to go into some questions that we have on from some of our Patreon nerds. And, of course, if you want to join in, use the command in depth in chat. It's like ! in dash depth maybe. And it'll bring you to the Discord channel. Yeah. And anyways, let's take a look at some of these things. Thank you again to all of our Patreon supporters. We really appreciate you guys. From Donrick, what GSL player would be the worst to live with in your opinion? Which foreigner? I know there are foreigners in GSL. I mean foreigners not in GSL.
Okay. I would have to depends on what you're looking for out of a housemate, I guess. Like, I don't know. You probably want to stay away from anyone who's really sloppy or dirty. But, I don't know who's dirty and who isn't dirty. But at the same time, I probably don't want people that slack. You know?
I
think someone like True would probably be really bad to have.
Okay.
Like, True's a great person. I really love him as a person. He's a great guy to live with in that aspect. But if you're like trying to get better, he literally just plays League of Legends all day and stuff like that. It's just like, why is this guy at our house? He's just playing League.
Sure.
I don't know other than that.
I think you should probably have a sense of humor if you're at someone's house. Is there any serious face nerds in GSL, or is there anyone that shows a lot of rage when they lose? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Maybe like a bunny or a creator or someone like that.
You don't want someone that's down,
Down?
Yeah, like always like or angry or something.
Pessimistic or something.
Someone that's like me when I play Brood War. You don't want that in the house.
Dark would be great. I would love to live with Dark. Dark would be amazing. I don't know. This is a good question. I think I'm going to go with True.
True?
He plays too much League for me.
Okay.
But I love him, so I would still let him come to my house.
I would go with Parting. He's too loud.
Parting's a good one.
He's too loud.
I didn't think about Parting, yeah. You imagine you're playing him and you just like leave and you're like pissed off and he just says, "Fuck you, no GG" from the other side of the room. Oh, I'd be so triggered.
It would be amazing, actually. I'd take it back.
For foreigners, I don't know. This is a hard one because I can't just be like, "Oh yeah, I hate one." Like, you know. I think Ragers. Ragers are really annoying.
Ragers would be.
We have a bit of a Rager at our house now. I won't say who, but it's kind of annoying to live with them because they'll just say things after games. I'm like, you know, and they'll like smash the desks and stuff sometimes.
Yeah,
it's just kind
hitting
of
a desk or hitting a keyboard. I don't want to be fucking scared when I'm practicing StarCraft.
You're just like playing.
Sometimes I'll just be playing in my office, sitting right here, just playing some StarCraft at night. And my daughter will come in and be like, come up right next to me. "Hey, Dada." And I go, "Oh!" I'm like, "Oh, you scared me. Oh, my God."
You're right.
Yeah, and a bang on the desk would do that. So no thank you to that. Thank you for the question, Don Rick. All right. Andrew K. asks, you guys briefly touched on good practice habits versus bad ones in earlier episodes. Can you give some examples of what makes a good training regimen versus a bad one? What should someone specifically focus on? And what should be their goals from practice? So I think in general on this, it's very, very deep. And I think it's not well mapped out still. I think actually during the peak of Kespa, they were probably closer to the truth than we can get right now. I think it's regressed a bit, but also I think that they were doing very wrong things. They were unhealthy too. They were unhealthy in a lot of ways, but a lot of their practice routines I think were much better, even though unhealthy amounts and stuff like that. So it is a hard one.
If I can give some advice as to someone who kind of naturally got good at StarCraft, you probably want to find a regiment that allows you to play the most and not stress yourself or not over, exaggerate. Because if you get burnt out, that's really bad.
Burnout is the worst.
So you want to find a middle ground between burning out and just being able to play as much. Honestly, if you play a ton of games and you're learning minimal from them, you'll probably get a lot better, a lot quicker. There's a lot of things you'll pick up on naturally. You don't need to specifically examine certain things or certain whatever. You just play. So finding a regiment in between there is probably the best thing you can do. It's mostly about time invested.
A couple of ideas I have are like, for instance, you should have an idea of what you're going to do before each game, and you should be doing the same thing over a lot of times in a row, so that you can learn each time and see the differences popping up each time. I think that's important. If you're just randomizing your play on the ladder, it's like, what are we doing? If you know it's the same opponent and you want to practice a best of series or mind games, that can be helpful. But I think in general, you want to do the same thing over and over for a certain amount of time so that you learn from that. Also, you need to play a mass of games so that you really understand everything. Like, for instance, both of us have played so many games that you can kind of just look at units and know what's going to win and what's possible for the most part. You can still be surprised, but until you really know all that, you got to make sure that you've played enough games to always know that.
I agree.
Right? That's like something that can really stick out. If you look at two sets of units and you're not really sure what's going to happen, you haven't played enough games yet, and you need to get over that hump before you can, I think, get yourself down into a more deliberate practice type of situation. You have to have a certain amount below you before that, I think.
100%. I agree.
Thank you for the question. Good question. And definitely something we can talk about more in the future as well. For me, it's the most interesting topic.
Yeah, we could lump it into the hotkeys and other stuff. We could just have an episode of good habits. And
that'd be fun.
Things.
All right. From Knight Lieutenant Fields. If you could have any kind of cyber implant at all, what would it be?
A brain implant, 100%. Easily 100%. No question.
Yeah.
I would want to be...
Nice smooth metal brain.
Yeah, I would want to be smarter and faster thinking. I would like to do quantum mechanics off the top of my head or whatever, it'd just be cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, I feel like that would help me in StarCraft. Yeah, I don't think my hands need to be any faster. I just need a better if I can like improve my mechanics by like downloading an update or something, that'd be great. You know, like download Maru patch 2.3 or some shit, and I'm just as good as Maru.
Oh, okay.
That'd be nice.
I want a cyber implant that makes it so that even if I don't sleep enough, I feel like I did.
What about a cyber implant that just stops you from having to sleep at all?
That would be
unless
amazing.
you want to.
Yeah, that would be so good.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If I just didn't have to sleep. Do you know how easy it would be to take over the world? That was actually a Bond villain once. One of the Bond movies, the villain is actually just someone who only has to like sleep for 20 minutes a day or something. Because you can just take over the world at that point. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I'm going to assume that my brain implant allows me to do that. So.
All right. If you had to remove one unit from each race, what would it be?
Ooh, good question. Can we?
The game would have to be grossly rebalanced,
yes.
like hugely rebalanced. So just keep that in mind. But I think that the worst units, the Roach, the Immortal.
Oh. Okay. The Roach,
the Immortal, and what would I remove from Terran? That's a little bit harder. I think that the Cyclone is a fucking stupid unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are I think that those are the three stupidest units in the game.
It'd be interesting to remove Roach and put Hydra on Lair or on a hatch tech again, like it used to be.
Yeah, and again, you'd have to rebalance all this drastically.
My picks definitely. I feel like the Liberator is just a bad unit. It doesn't feel great, even defensively, offensively, sieging it up, whatever it is. It just doesn't feel great. I do think obviously the game would need to be rebalanced. I'm not saying that taking that out will be fine, but like being able to just like shift queue a Liberator onto a mineral line is just the most obnoxious thing ever. Like, it takes no skill whatsoever. You just shift queue it, you forget about it. It does damage. Like, you pull your drones, it does damage. It kills drones, it does damage. It kills a queen, it does damage. Like, just whatever, it just does damage. Terran, or Protoss, I would probably remove the Prism. Obviously, they would need a shuttle or something, but the Prism just feels like a really bad design. The fact that you can build units in somebody else's base does not feel good from either side of the receiving end. It just feels bad. Like, defensively, I have to sit there and be ready. And offensively, I can't do anything because they can just warp in at my base at any point. It feels like a bad game design.
Okay.
And I'd like them to find a way to not have that. Like, obviously, things would have to change.
Listen, if you gave me 100 mineral shuttles that came with speed, I would give you the Prism. I think that would be much more interesting.
I would trade that in a million years.
Yeah. No, I think everyone
instant
would.
Trade for me.
But I think that could be really reasonable because you could make a lot of them. And they already move quickly, so you can actually do something with them.
I would rather that than be able to warp in 20 zealots in my base late game. It's way worse. Yeah. Which race am I missing? Zerg? Swarm host. Get rid of it. It's annoying. It's just a dumb unit.
Well, I like it, but it is dumb. Yeah. It is dumb.
Just get rid of
but
the Swarm host.
It's kind of like a unit that I've always liked.
It just feels weird.
Sure.
Sure. Like the way they're using it is just like the most obnoxious thing ever from the other side too. Like it's just get rid of it. I actually unbound it. I refuse to use Swarm hosts if I can. Sometimes I have to click on the picture, but I'm tired of making Swarm hosts randomly.
Sure. All right. Thank you for the question. Also from Hawk Oddly, our last one. How does one get into casting outside of having some game knowledge? What other skills would you say are important? Speaking clearly is important, and I don't mean that, well, clearly speaking is important. I mean speaking clearly is important, which I don't even always do. I follow my words quite a bit. I think you have to be able to listen to what someone's saying and make a story out of the game as well. I think it is important to be able to turn some of these situations into something exciting. It's not something that we do on In-Depth, but it's something we do in GSL. You have any ideas?
I think you need to be in the right place at the right time, too. Like, there's a lot of luck-based kind of things that put you in these situations where you can or can't commentate. I think you have to do it on your own a little bit to, assert yourself. Because obviously if your first cast is like the GSL, you're going to feel really out of your position or out of your depth. But, yeah, honestly, practice is probably the biggest thing. And I do think you need to play a lot. Like, I don't think that casters can show up with a nice voice and just do well in a lot of StarCraft situations. It's just not, it doesn't fit right with StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
Unless they're paired with someone who's really good and you find a good dynamic where you're trading knowledge for, smoothness in the show. But that's something you need to practice. You can't just show up and do that.
Yeah, I think you should also know who you're casting.
Yes.
You should have watched a lot of their games and understand who they are, what they play like, their stories as well. I think that's a big part of it that gets missed out on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
guys, thank you for the questions today. We're gonna
let's talk about the next week episode.
Yep.
So you guys, are we gonna make them put in the Patreon questions, or where do you want to put it? And should it be open to everybody, or just the Patreons?
Yeah, I don't know.
We should have thought about these things.
Well, anyways, let's talk about it first. So we're gonna do something on meta games and what makes them good, and we'll probably look at some replays as well because we have to analyze something. But yeah, so why don't you explain the idea?
Well, we touched on it a little bit in this episode, like a tiny bit on what made these games interesting versus the other. But basically, we want to go over what makes a StarCraft 2 meta good. There are things that make it good, like intrinsically things that stand out in the past and the present that feel really good to watch. For example, Lingbane Muta feels great to watch. What makes it great to watch? Those are the kind of things we're going to talk about. I'm going to go and ask tons of pro gamers. We're going to ask for like a one-sentence thing and what they think makes the game intrinsically good or the meta intrinsically good. And we'd also like to hear what viewers think makes it good to see if we can compare it to the players.
Yeah, that's because obviously players and viewers might think of this differently. So leave us your suggestions, what you think about that in the in-depth Discord. Why don't you guys leave them in in-depth game suggestions? That seems like a reasonable channel, right?
And if you're a Patreon, maybe you can put it in the question one.
Well, they have a colored name, so
they have a colored name. Okay, yeah, just put it in the game suggestions.
We will definitely mention what you guys are thinking, but yeah, do that, and we will check that out.
Yeah, so next week we'll go over what your thoughts on what makes a good meta.
And pro gamer thoughts, and our thoughts.
And then our thoughts.
And we're going to have a little debate, I have no doubt, because I'm sure we don't agree on it completely.
It'll be interesting. It'll be different, but it'll be fun and interesting.
Yeah.
If you're an in-depth fan, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But I think that'll wrap this episode up.
That's right. We are just about done, guys. Thank you so much for the support. Check out our Patreon, check out our Discord, and we'll be back next week. So, see you guys later.